history here, Matt. Is it hard to believe sometimes still the 20th head coach here in program history?
It's all moved really quickly here over the course of the last 5-6 weeks. But super excited to be here.
Phil Bonatti is the voice for the Central Valley sports leader. Behind the Bench starts now. Brought to you by Helena Agri.
That's right. Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, here on this Wednesday, October 22nd, here on this wonderful afternoon. Good to be here. Good to be alongside you. Good to be talking some sports here for the next 3 hours here on 1430 ESPN. Good to be here. Very excited to be here with all of you. What a night of basketball last night. Got another big one tonight as I am looking at one of the strangest sights I think I've ever seen, Jorge, on my TV, which is inside the NBA, but with an ESPN icon in front of their disc. So I'm dealing with that. We'll get to that in a little bit, but first, let's get started with the show. 3 hours, like I said. Big thanks to Tony D for tossing it to us in the previous hour. Tony D Show, of course, the Sportsline Bulldog Hour. Tony D from 2 to 3 p.m. on weekdays. You can listen to it live and on demand on the 1430 ESPNFresno.com website or the ESPN Fresno app. You can listen to his show. You can listen to my show. You can listen to Paul Metter's show, the Central Valley Sports Report with Paul Metters from 10 a.m. to noon. On Saturdays, live and on demand as well. If you missed any of those shows, you can check it out there in terms of what you want to be paying attention to. Very excited to get going on this show. Before we do so, though, we got to get to our sponsors, the Lee's Air Hotline, brought to you by Lee's Air Plumbing, Heating, and Roofing. 559-320-1430, the way to reach us. 559-320-1430, the way to reach our show. That is the Lee's Air Hotline. Lee's Air Weather Check. Taking a peek, it's 71 degrees here in Fresno. Been a really wet day today so far. Looks like the rain is subsiding, though, and we're getting into some partly cloudy situation tonight. 58 degrees is the low. We'll be up in the mid to high 70s the rest of the week here. 74 degrees looks like our temperature for a high in terms of the Fresno State football game. Kickoff temp looks like it's 70 degrees on Saturday, so should be relatively nice, really, for the next week and a half or so. So can't wait for that. Good to be here. Like I said, good to be alongside. And let's get rolling on it. What should be a very good show. Who do we have coming on the show today? We have Jackson Moore, who'll be joining us in about 15 minutes or so. Jackson Moore, of course, you know him from Barkboard and all other great things out there in terms of Fresno State coverage. You, of course, know him from Tony's show for quite some time. I get some time with him today, though, and we'll chat with him talking about this big game coming up on Saturday. Big couple weeks for the Bulldogs, so we break it down there. Coming in at 4 o'clock, he'll be hanging the whole hour in the 4 o'clock hour. Gabe Camarillo will be joining me talking Fresno State. We'll talk some high school football as well. We're down to 2 weeks left of the regular season. So we check in on stock up on some teams in terms of where the playoff races will go. Who are some teams to watch? Is the playoff system going to be better this year in terms of the revamped seating situation? How it all will look like in terms of that and more. So that's what Gabe and I will discuss. And then, of course, we got the final hour of the show. 5 at 5, we'll be back with another easy, interesting segment. We'll talk about the Giants hire as well, hiring a new manager. We'll talk about some of the NBA games going on tonight as well. And maybe that is where we start today, is the NBA, which, of course, you listened to on 1430 to last night. You heard the Lakers falling by 10 to the Golden State Warriors. So, going to be an interesting season for sure for all of these teams. We'll get into it right away. But first, I got to ask my producer, Jorge, who's in here for right now. Of course, he has the live stream up and running for us here. Hello to the folks who are at ESPN Fresno, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You can find us there in terms of that. Jorge, how are we doing on this Wednesday afternoon? Full 3-hour show for you. Should be a fun evening and afternoon, though. including us getting into the Sunbird Sports Show at 6 o'clock to 7 later tonight on 790. How are you doing on this fine Wednesday afternoon?
I'm doing well. I think I got a full day today, so it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. There's some. It's a gloomy day, and it feels kind of like, like I don't know, like I should be home drinking like hot tea or like.
This should be a Saturday. we can't quite seem to align the weather with the weekend vibes of just wanting to just stay inside and just enjoying it. We'll get those.
I should be drinking hot cocoa and like
hot cocoa and enjoying a nice
playing
warm
PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. Just everybody just sitting in there as far as that's concerned. But I think that's an interesting take on it. I enjoy the rain. I enjoy having the rain around. It creates a different vibe to it. Aside from the weather, I mentioned this at the top. ESPN logo in front of the NBA on inside the NBA with Chuck, Shaq, Kenny, and the crew in terms of that, and Ernie. I'm having a stark reality that this is going to be interesting to watch in terms of how this is going to interact with each other. But we're 5 minutes into the show, Jorge, and I saw they put a clip of Charles Barkley kissing a donkey's ass, and he had the logo of ESPN, which I think Charles Barkley said he would do that before he would work for ESPN, and guess what he's doing? He is currently working for ESPN. So we're off to a blazing start here on the inside of NBA.
Is it AI or is it for real thing?
It's a for real picture from back in like the late 90s.
Oh my God.
So
well, that's what he gets for opening his mouth like that.
I'm very curious to see how this will all turn out in terms of the show and how it'll be. They're giving them their space to do what they want to do. We hope it's a marriage that will allow them to creatively be the way they've been creatively. I've always enjoyed that show, and ESPN gets their turn to watch and broadcast NBA basketball tonight. Last night we had two games, including the Lakers. We had the absolutely insane double overtime game between the Thunder and the Rockets, and the Thunder just proving they are inevitable as a basketball team, getting it done down the stretch in terms of it. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander drawing the foul that fouled out KD in the double overtime period. 2 free throws to basically seal it away with 2 seconds to go. No KD on the floor. You felt like the Rockets had nobody to go to in terms of that final shot and it falling short. The epic nature of the game certainly helped the broadcast quality, and I think a lot of people really enjoyed the broadcast quality of how that game went. I'm seeing a lot of people say love letter to the NBA in terms of how they handled the element of the broadcast. ESPN take notes in terms of how they handled the broadcast. Felt like it wasn't a rushed product. Felt like it was a product that really understood the gravitas of the moments, and the players seemed to show up. Of course, it helps when you have a good game, but I thought last night was a really fun couple of broadcasts to start the NBA season off. I will say people will always have the honeymoon phase of a new network starting and running broadcasts in terms of it, but then eventually you could see it all, the worm turning per se in terms of something like that. But or hey, I don't know if you saw any of the highlights last night or if you saw any of this conversation or chatter about the NBA on NBC for the first time last night. Did you hear anything about it last night? Or
I watched a little bit of the Lakers Warriors game.
Yeah,
I always enjoyed watching basketball on NBC, and I think especially when I was a kid, watching the Bulls and even Indianapolis, the Pacers.
Yeah,
when they were there, I remember very well those finals, and because they were on NBC, and they always had good production, and I think that's something that they came back with it, and I think it's important to know that they're gonna have that for the audience, and I think it's gonna be a good show.
Yeah, 4 teams tipping it off last night. The Warriors impressive in their win over the Los Angeles Lakers. Of course, tonight it is the 24 other teams that are tipping it off tonight. Only 2 teams do not tip it off tonight. They are going to wait till tomorrow to start their season. The Pacers and the Nuggets are the last 2 teams to be getting their season rolling, and that is tomorrow when the Pacers play the Oklahoma City Thunder in an NBA Finals rematch, and the Warriors host the Denver Nuggets tomorrow from the Bay. So 24 teams get rolling, including your Kings, Jorge. Got to check out. Do we know who the Kings are playing tonight? Who they're opening up tonight against? They're in Phoenix tonight. In Phoenix, so there's a chance.
The Suns, yeah.
Yeah. I would say those are the 2 subsection of teams in the Western Conference right now. Jalen Green's Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker's Phoenix Suns. Feels like they had the edge in terms of it. But anyways, yeah. You mentioned, though, you didn't stick around to that Laker game because I think you saw something in that game last night that I think a lot of people saw, which was the Lakers aren't playing serious basketball right now. It's not. It's not a quality that I think people are
so I watched
ready for.
I watched for like a good 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I saw that, the Warriors just had a handle on it, and it wasn't like it was a bad game. It was just that, the Warriors had a lead, and there was no way that the Lakers were getting close to it. So they wasn't gonna make it a game. So I'm thinking like, maybe I could watch something else. So that's why I didn't stick around because. Otherwise, maybe if it would have been a little bit more competitive, maybe I'll stick around. But
yeah,
I mean, it's the start of the season, so it's known to start a little bit slow for everybody. But yeah,
a lot was talked about. Luka did a lot in that game last night. 43 points for him last night in terms of how he played. But outside of that, him and Reeves were kind of the 2 guys, and the Lakers are still hurting to try to find some sort of production from everybody. Here's what the Lakers scored 109 last night, Jorge. Doncic and Reeves were scoring or assisting on 97 of those 109 points last night. That's not an equation for it. J.J. Redick, of course, talking about the third quarter struggles for the Lakers, which was, I think it was evident from last season that this team really struggled in the third quarter in terms of it. You look at some stats that were here. The Lakers outscored by 124 points in the third quarter, which was in the bottom 10, actually in the bottom 7 of the NBA, and was worst amongst teams who were having a winning record last year in terms of it. So there's the good and the bad with the Lakers last night. I think Leaner Luka looked a little bit better defensively, in my opinion. Taking a look at in terms of how his point total was absolutely a top-tier mark. You want to guess the last Laker player to score 43 points plus in an NBA season opener for the Lakers?
Kobe?
Kobe had 45 in 2007. Yeah, so 2007.
Jeez.
Yeah. Doncic went 13 for 14 in the paint, 15 for 17 on the 2-pointers. Highly efficient game in terms of it. Yeah. I think they're not in trouble with Doncic, but the problem is they're in trouble with the cast of characters. Ayton was rusty, I think, for sure. Ayton didn't look like the physical dominant player that he was back when he was in the Phoenix Suns days. But let's also give credit to the Warriors and the way they played. The Warriors, of course, Jimmy Butler, how about 16 for 16 from the free throw line last night? Steph Curry going 8 for 8 from the free throw line. And I laugh at this story I heard last night where Jimmy Butler revealed he made a bet with Draymond that Jimmy Butler would shoot a better free throw percentage than Steph Curry this year. And Steph Curry, of course, hovers right above 90%, 91%, 92% in terms of free throw percentage. And I'll tell you what, I like the friendly competition in terms of it. We like happy Jimmy Butler for sure. Is that going to be accomplished? I don't know. I don't know if that's certainly going to happen. But he said, I think it's a good bet. I also think it might be a bad bet for me, but I think it's a good bet overall. Jorge, no chance he beats Steph Curry in a free throw percentage contest for the whole year, right?
For the whole year?
Yeah.
No, there's no chance.
By the way, his 16 for 16, the most made free throws without a miss in a game by a Warriors player under Steve Kerr. Steph Curry never did 16 for 16. I'll tell you that. Interesting. Buddy Hield was massive as well. 5 3-pointers off the bench. And that's the difference, right? The Warriors had the role players showing up. The Lakers did not. And that's going to be an issue all season for the Lakers. And I think it reaffirms that I think this is a play-in team at its current iteration. The other issue I think what stands by with this is that LeBron James looked a little disengaged last night. And I think people are making something with that one. You can read the tea leaves of that. But I'm just going to say, Jorge, he did not look like he wanted to be there in terms of it. So, I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. Yeah.
Well, he's injured, right? So he's not.
Yeah, but he's usually involved in the plays and talking to the coaches and pointing things out. And he just sat on the end of the bench and looked like a statue.
Well, sciatica could also be. Sciatica does have,
I'm just pointing out what I saw.
He could have been going through some
He
pain.
didn't have to go to the game if he's dealing with that much pain. He's not required to be there.
It's home opener.
Yeah. So we're checking the next game. We're checking Friday when they play the Timberwolves. Is LeBron's going to be at the end of the bench?
I want to see him happy and.
I don't know.
Up and down.
I don't know. There's tea leaves, trouble in paradise. Jorge, you pointed out to me, are the Lakers trying to move on from LeBron in some form or fashion? You got the Laker radio release. Guess who was on the cover of that for us? Our affiliate manual. You want to tell the people who was on the cover of the affiliate manual for the Lakers? They had one player to choose from. And guess who they picked?
And also something that I heard last night during the radio broadcast.
Yeah, hold on. Before you go to that,
no,
go ahead.
It's related to it.
Right.
It's related to it because a lot of the radio broadcast was, this is Luka Doncic for the Lakers radio network, and no LeBron.
Yeah.
And who was in the cover? Luka, not LeBron.
Luka was on the.
And last year was LeBron.
Luka was on the affiliate cover, and not LeBron.
It's just it looks like they're trying to, and also LeBron is probably thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, he's what, 40 now?
40.
So
soon to be 41 in December.
Those injuries are, they're popping up more often. He's missing a little bit more games. It's his body's telling him.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I don't blame him if he wants to, to take off. I mean, he'll love to go out with a win, so
of course.
Maybe he'll stick around for a bit, but I don't know.
We're overdue for our break. We got to get our guest on here, but I just wanted to point that out real quick, because it just feels like they're leaning Luka for the Lakers, but we'll see where the soap opera develops. It is only night one of the NBA. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Jackson Moore is going to join us next on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
For 80 years, Fresno Pacific University has been shaping the heart and soul of California as the Central Valley's only accredited Christian university. Today, our deep faith roots and pride in our community drive us to provide affordable, career-relevant education that transforms the lives of our students and the communities they serve. Discover your calling through over 100 undergraduate and graduate programs offered on campus or fully online.
At any of the 3 locations and you're set. Or head to Toledo's new sports bar at Cedar and Knees, the Valley's new game day headquarters, for your favorite college and NFL matchups on the big screens. And you'll love their happy hour, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5. Saturday and Sunday, 8 to 10, with $10 apps and $7 house margaritas. Toledo's Mexican Restaurant, your winning game plan.
Football fans, it's Phil Bonatti with Behind the Bench. The season is heating up, so bring your tailgate to mid-season form with Grocery Outlet in Kerman, Sanger, and Fresno's Southeast, Downtown, and Northwest stores. Stock up and save big on quality meats, snacks, drinks, beer, and wine. The same great quality, but always at lower prices. And while you're there, enter the Tailgate Ready contest to win 2 tickets to the next Fresno State home game, plus $100 for your tailgate. Only at Kerman, Sanger, and Fresno's Southeast, Downtown, and Northwest Grocery Outlets.
It's football season, and your headquarters for game day gear is at the Sports Station. Check out their new location next to Women's Macy's inside Fashion Fair Mall. From official NFL jerseys, hats, and accessories for the 49ers, Cowboys, Raiders, and Rams to Fresno State apparel that shows your hometown pride, the Sports Station has it all. Whether you're cheering on the pros or repping the dogs, get the licensed merchandise you need to look game ready. Gear up now at the Sports Station next to Women's Macy's inside Fashion Fair Mall.
My wife and I don't need advice on how to create wealth. We need advice on how we seek to make the most of it. We need help with complex issues like creative risk management and tax mitigation strategies, estate planning to help preserve our kids' and grandkids' futures, and leaving a legacy through a trust for charitable giving. And we'd like to simplify by being able to view all of our investment vehicles in one place. We're looking for all of this in one firm. Bottom line, we're looking for something different.
Thies & Duker Modern Wealth Management is different. From our innovative software designed to perform detailed analysis and streamlining of even the most complex portfolios, to how our advisors work as a multidisciplinary team to refine financial strategies. Visit thiesandduker.com to learn more about how Thies & Duker might just be the kind of different you need. The advisors of Thies & Duker Modern Wealth Management are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, and we are now pleased to be joined first guest of the day on the Lee's Air Hotline. It's Barkboard's Jackson Moore. Of course, you can hear him all the time on Tony's show, Sportsline Bulldog Hour, and check out his stuff over at Barkboard out there for the Fresno State Bulldogs. And Jackson, good to have you on the program. How are you doing on this dreary dark Wednesday in terms of the rain? Hope you're staying dry.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I stopped by practice today, and it was a little wet out there. They got some rain for the Bulldogs on Jim Sweeney Field this morning. Sounded like there was even some thunder and lightning around campus, but they weren't delayed at all. So I got practice in, and I got to get my interviews, and so far so good.
Coach Jensen's like, not again, right? Not again on a big week, right?
Well, you know, this is, I believe, the third time it's happened, kind of earlier than usual for sure. And I believe they're 2-0 the last 2 times, so maybe it's a good sign.
Maybe it is a good sign, and the Bulldogs absolutely could use that trend in terms of it. So going into this week, of course, there was a lot of just kind of waiting and resetting and wondering how this team would be responding to what Friday night back in Colorado State, back in Fort Collins, about what? Almost 12 days ago now in terms of it. And Jackson, you were there, of course. You knew the tenor of how that team was feeling throughout that game, and by the time the game was over, I think Coach Entz even said, hey, it was the worst time to have a bye week. He wanted to get through this game and get right back to playing the field. Do you what do you think has been the mood since then, since that Friday night to now, as they are going through this bye week?
Yeah, we didn't get to see the team during the bye week, but been able to go out this week, and it feels like they've gotten over it, and their focus for San Diego State, you know, they're trying to get a little confidence back up. Sounds like they reevaluated some things in the bye week, so it wasn't necessarily, I would say, especially on offense, like they just sat around and tried to fix things exclusively. It sounds like some guys were even battling for their jobs, or some guys got a chance to try to move up the depth chart, so it's been an active time for the team. They've tried to ramp up the intensity a little bit, and I think being there at Colorado State, the team got shell-shocked early. I think that they came out at halftime believing that they were going to pull it off, and we're in that mind state until it kind of unraveled again there in the fourth quarter. But I think they left that game pretty sick about how it went, but maybe not feeling as bad as it looked just by seeing the pattern of the scores there.
It's like when you're. I think of it when it rains, it pours. In terms of a game like that, when you're behind so much, you have to take the chances you have to make in order for you to get back into a game like that. And I think of little opportunities right in these football games sometimes when you get and this is why, Jackson, I think you may agree with me. I think the biggest issue, people point to the turnovers all the time, but I think the turnovers can be caused by having to force things in long yardage situations, especially when penalties absolutely set you up in a horrible spot. 117 yards on last Friday. It was practically a turnover. Practically, I would say 7 points to the other team already in terms of it. And Jackson, I don't know if you share the sentiment as I do, but I feel like that's where it all starts for this team. The penalties are just absolutely backbreakers.
Yeah, the penalties were tough. It got to a point where anytime there was a good play, you were just looking around to see if there was some yellow laundry on the field or not, and it felt like about half the time there was. So that was added, especially when the team, it felt like they were getting some momentum and they were rolling. They're trying to make a bit of a comeback, and it felt like that was setting them back further each time they got a little momentum going. So losing Roland Fullwood for that game at right tackle surely didn't help. I think the Bulldogs had to scramble a little bit there with that situation, and he's all good to go this week. So hopefully the O-line's a little more in sync than they were in that one.
Is because I don't know if you did a breakdown of the penalties and the way they kind of went down. Is it Coach mentioned the difference between administrative and the way those penalties that occur on certain plays, but is there a particular thing you can point to when you see these penalties continue to occur? Like a lot of holdings, I think we see a lot on these big plays you mentioned, like the ones that are successful for the Bulldogs. Like, and I don't know if there's an antidote to fix it other than they just have to be in a better spot as an offense. What does it stand out for you in that sense?
That was kind of humorous. Before the game, I had a lot of our readers were reaching out about was it going to be the same refs as the past two games, because there were a couple of familiar refs in the Hawaii and Nevada games, and there was a lot of penalties. And I assured them that it was a whole brand new refereeing unit, so there shouldn't be any carryover. And that unit saw a lot of penalties as well on the Bulldogs. So I think when you're playing from behind, you might hold on to that jersey a little bit longer than what you probably can get away with. Maybe there's a little bit of that to it. The administrative penalties are frustrating, and I think you put that in the category of this team coming out just not quite on their game, being slow out of the gates, and for whatever reason, not really on their P's and Q's in that one.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for sure. You mentioned guys fighting for their jobs, or there's evaluations all over in terms of that. I think clearly and obviously the most scrutinized position in any sport in football is quarterback. And, Entz was quick to say, yes, Warner is the starter. But I didn't hear the full-throated, there was a little bit of hey, EJ needs to do this to be better right now. He needs to figure something out in terms of having the quick memory side of things as a quarterback to get through some of those tough plays like the turnovers he's committed. Does that indicate to you that Entz is starting to – obviously, I think he has to start considering something if things continue to go, but did that signal to you that – okay, now it might start become a position that's going to be evaluated here, even maybe into this game?
I think so. I'm still expecting Warner to start, but it just does feel like the situation's a bit different. And, Entz has some points. They've won 5 games, and 3 of them have been close. And in those games, Warner has only thrown 2 picks out of the 3 close games. So he has done some of what he needs to do managing the game in those instances. He has also had 6 turnovers, I believe, in the 2 losses where the team really unraveled as a whole. I don't think it would have mattered all that much had he not had thrown all those interceptions against Kansas or Colorado State, but it was still, it makes the stat line look ugly and makes you wonder about other games where you could be in similar spots. So I think Warner is the starter until if and when he plays himself out of it here in this game against San Diego State. If it's close, I don't really expect to see a change, but I think they're getting Conklin ready if they feel like they need to make a decision there.
Yeah, Conklin sounds like he's the number 2 for sure, and who knows what kind of circumstance it will lean on for the Bulldogs. The other thing is, of course, it's easy to just kind of look at the offense and blame everything on the offensive side in terms of it. And I got one more question in terms of that. You think of the run game. Coach mentioned that, while the run game didn't effectively do anything in terms of the grand scheme of how Friday night went 12 days ago, he did point out that there were statistically some positives in there, but maybe it was positives because it was situations where Colorado State didn't really necessarily need to do much on the defensive side. But now we're 3 weeks into 3 games straight now of this run game starting to really stall out after we thought it was a world-beating kind of run game. Where's your level of concern in terms of where this run game is for this Bulldog team, and can it find what it did the first 4 weeks of the year?
Yeah, I don't think it's so much the running game. It goes back to the passing game as well, which is probably my biggest issue there at quarterback, where you might want to consider making a change, because teams have really just decided that they're going to load up the box, they're going to go heavy against the Bulldogs' run, and dare Fresno State to throw it. And whether it's Warner's arm or the play calling or maybe the receiving weapons uncomfortable, the Bulldogs just haven't been a big deep threat team this year. And they've got to be able to fix that. E.J. Warner's actually been pretty good in the 10 to 19-yard range, but there just has been very little going on 20 yards or farther, and defenses are taking advantage of that, just putting so many players in the box that it's tough for the Bulldogs to run. You want to be a team that's so overly good on the O-line and in the running game that you can run anyway when teams do that, but it's fair that Fresno State's not exactly there in year one of the Coach Imp era with all these changes and the personnel that's out there. So it's really, I think, a team effort there. They do need to be able to be more balanced and more aggressive in the passing game. I think it's to take defenses out. But this week will be interesting because San Diego State's number 1 across the board in pretty much every defensive stat. You would think that they're just going to play the way they normally do, that they wouldn't change up their game plan necessarily to stop the Bulldogs in a particular way, but the blueprint's definitely out there, and the Bulldogs haven't quite solved it yet.
Yeah, I was going to ask this next question. Is this the worst team to go out and try to figuring things out offense against this? You kind of wish you had somebody like, I don't know, maybe like Wyoming or something like that. But this feels like worst case scenario in terms of the team you had to go face out here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of great defense being played in the Mountain West, but San Diego State is playing really good defense, and they're number 1 by a large margin in yards. Fresno State second, and San Diego State's got about 50 fewer yards per game than the Bulldogs do. So it goes to show how well they're playing. They shut out a Cal team that scored 21 points or more every week, other than the time they played the Aztecs. So they've been an issue on defense, and I think there's some positives there where you don't have to face the 3-3-5. It seemed like even when San Diego State wasn't necessarily on top of its game on defense, you just knew playing that scheme it was going to be trouble for any quarterback. It was tough to figure out and read. They don't play that anymore with their new coaching staff. It's a 4-2-5, not too different from what Fresno State does. So if they stay in that base defense, it might be finally a chance for the Bulldogs to kind of want to do what they normally do compared to the teams that have just abandoned their defenses and loaded the box. But at the same time, what they're doing in their base defense has been so good. It hasn't given much room for teams to run or pass on them. And I don't have a lot of expectation for the Bulldogs to score a lot of points in this one, but I think there's opportunities for the defense to do what it needs to do to keep it close.
Well, and maybe I'm spoiling it a little bit. I sent you the preview today for the Barkboard side of things, and I think it's necessary for a defensive or special teams touchdown in some form or fashion in this game if the Bulldogs hope to have any chance. I wonder if you see it that way, and I wonder if the Bulldogs on defense, I mean, we've seen San Diego State struggle against like a Northern Illinois in terms of going on the road, but that's an unusual circumstance, right? Or is that where you can exploit it a little bit? Is this offense for one that was able to kind of do what it wanted in some games this year, especially against Colorado State. Is there a little bit of a gap there in terms of how we can exploit this offense coming into Bulldog Stadium?
Yeah, they've been balanced, and they like to be up tempo at times, which both are tough to stop, especially together. They spread it out. It's not the old San Diego State team that'll just go heavy personnel and run it right down your throat. They're running it a lot. They've got a huge O-line, but it's very much a spread, up-tempo type style.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that stands out to me is that the yards are not overly impressive compared to the amount of points they're getting. I'm thinking they have scored a few times on defense and special teams themselves. I think the way the defense is playing, they're probably buying themselves some short fields over the course of the season, probably more so than most teams. So I think for the Bulldogs, if you can at least make them drive the length of the field and chew some clock, even in an up-tempo system, if you can make them have a lot of plays to get down the field, try to bend but don't break, force some field goals, you can keep this game low scoring. Field position is going to be big. It's just there's not a lot of big play threat, I would say. Their leading running back's got 100 carries, and his longest run of the whole year, 17 yards. And a lot of their offense is going to go through him. They do have Jordan Napier at receiver. He's a big play threat. That seems to be the one guy. If you can take care of him, and you look at this Bulldog defense that's outside of Colorado State, been really good at limiting the big plays and just keeping everything in front of them. I think they can at least make life difficult for the Aztecs, even if they're able to move the ball consistently. It could take them longer than usual, and try to force some instead of sixes, and just keep this game as kind of as short as possible, I think, as few possessions as possible, and kind of try to win late like they had been previously.
You mentioned the performance by the defense in Friday in Colorado State, and sometimes you just have a bad day at the office. And that's how I felt in terms of seeing how that team performed. It was just absolutely like an out of body. Like they just did not have anybody there in terms of playing at a capable level. You throw that out, right? Or is it a concern of things to come?
Coach Ince put a lot of that just on the tackling, and there's been a couple games where the tackling hasn't been great, particularly the 2 losses. There's been other games where they've been really solid, so they've got to be sure that they do whatever they need to do to tackle properly and not give up the extra 2 yards or big plays that came against Colorado State, against future opponents. Seems like just structurally and fundamentally, this defense is usually in the right spots and limits those big plays, and I think that's been a big focus this week as well, just to get back to that and shake things off, especially because as bad as they started at Colorado State, they've caught fire there for about 30 minutes of football on the defensive side. The Rams, I don't think, had a first down in about a 30-minute stretch of that whole game. So they showed potential of what they could do if they could start strong and string that together. They were hot against Hawaii and against Nevada. So I think there's the hope in this matchup is the Bulldog defense versus San Diego State's offense, and if they can do enough on that side, they might buy the Bulldogs offense enough time to make something happen here.
As you compare notes to like who the Bulldogs have beat, who they played, the way the Mountain West is kind of shaping up, and who's beaten who, and all of that, do you start comparing the teams more and more, obviously, and where this Bulldog team can sit, and who knows what this 2-week stretch can provide. Obviously, if they win the next 2, their destiny is theirs in terms of the Mountain West Championship. But I think of the Hawaii win and what Hawaii's been able to do outside of our game, the Fresno State game against Hawaii, and I'm impressed with how they did against the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors in terms of what they did. So is there something for the fans to kind of grasp into that aspect of it, of like it just seeing how the Mountain West is shaping up, how much it's kind of eating its own tail per se, the conference itself, and do you try to do that comparison, or do you feel like it's week in, week out, it's all different?
Yeah, I just think there's so much parity. I feel like San Diego State's probably had about the hottest run the last couple of games. They've been just the one team that's really asserted themselves a couple games in a row. Boise State, I feel like, has probably got the most talent, and they put it into effect against UNLV. There's been other games where, for whatever reason, they haven't been able to put it together. So you really need to figure things out here against these 2 teams particularly. outside of those two, at least, and maybe you do include those two, the parity has just been across the board, from 3 to 12, basically. Even Nevada, I think the only winless team left. They only lost to New Mexico by 2. Of course, they only lost here, Fresno State by 3, so they're not too far off either. There's a lot of teams that have some really impressive offense and not so much going on defense. UNLV, Air Force, San Jose State, Utah State, all kind of in that group. And the Bulldogs have 2 of them in November, so those are those kinds of games where they look like games the Bulldogs should win based off the records, but games you could fall behind 10-0, 14-3 types in the first quarter. They make a big play or two, and now you're playing from behind, and you're one play away from Colorado State all over again. So the Bulldogs have a lot to figure out. There's not much forgiveness in these next 2 games if they don't figure it out in time, and they also need to make sure that they've got an answer if something like Colorado State happens again against these teams in November that are beatable but also capable of beating yourselves.
Certainly. My last question, and I go scorched earth on the fans. Last time we had a home game, you don't have to do it, Jackson. I can do it for you. But just in terms of a 12:30 kick, you felt the energy against Nevada last time we had a home game, and I kind of felt like it just dissipated after a halftime, and nobody provided anything in terms of that. No excuse this week, right? 12:30 kick. Do we imagine the whole crowd is going to stick around? Do we imagine we're going to get a crowd advantage in this one? I actually think 12:30 was probably the best result in terms of a kickoff for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is just making sure they're in the seats in the first place. It's 12:30 kickoff. There's a lot of family obligations around the valley for mornings and afternoons, family things, soccer, that kind of youth soccer, all that stuff going on in town. So I know I posed the question 12:30 or 4, what do you want to see? And it was overwhelmingly 4. And it's not in Fresno State's decision to pick the kickoff time. It's for the TV networks to decide. But I think it's tough for a nice afternoon. There's a lot of activity going on. Just maybe important of those ticket sales that we're planning to come, but maybe can't get there or won't make it on time at 12:30. But you hope it sets up for everyone to stay till the end. That's the biggest key. I think even if it's not as big of a crowd as it could be, it should be big enough to different, make some noise. Hopefully they're still there late to do that as well. I know last year the Bulldogs had a couple 7:30s, and then they went about 4 or 5 the last couple of games. And I was thinking that might make a difference, but no, around 7 or 8 o'clock at night, it was still just as dissipated as 10 or 7. We'll see how this one goes. It's been a long time since the 12:30 kickoff, so we're still to determine exactly what it ends out.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out for sure. Well, Jackson, I appreciate it. Lastly, where can people find you? How can people find what you do in writing about the Bulldogs?
Yeah, head to barkboard.com for all of our coverage of Fresno State, and you can find me on Twitter at JacksonMoore247.
All right, Jackson, we'll see you at the game on Saturday. Appreciate it as always. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Jackson Moore of Barkboard here on 1430. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more of the show next on 1430 ESPN.
Need cash? If you've got a car, we've got the cash. Clausen Honda wants to buy your car. If it's running, we want your late model Toyota, Hyundai, Kia, Subaru, Acura, or Honda. Just call Clausen and ask for our VUP to schedule your appraisal appointment. In just 10 minutes, you'll get your cash value quote. Yes, we are eliminating the hassle of getting rid of your used old car. So if you're ready to sell, we are ready to buy. Call Clausen Honda of Fresno today. If you've got a car, we've got the cash. Get cash for your car. Clausen Honda.
Hey, Spooky Stoners, Valley Pure is brewing deals that'll raise your spirits. Get 50% off aging flour from Valley Pure, Cowgirl, and Dots while supplies last. It's frighteningly good. Want more magic? Snag a pre-roll for just a penny with the purchase of any Valley Pure, Cowgirl, or Dots products. Exclusions apply. Stop by any of our 5 Valley Pure locations or order on the app for quick pickup before these ghostly goodies vanish into thin air. Elevate your stash this spooky season with Valley Pure, if you dare.
Welcome to A+ Signs.
Thanks. Yeah, I need some custom exterior signs for my business.
Great. What's the name of your business?
C+ Signs.
Wait, you own a sign company?
Yep, C+ Signs.
And you want us, A-plus signs, to make your signs?
Yeah, I need them really fast, and we can't touch our turnaround times.
We are kind of known for that.
For signs that stop traffic, drive traffic, and even direct traffic, call A-plus signs.
Remember, A-plus has great technicians to service and repair signs, too.
Yeah, we got a guy, but he's afraid of ladders.
Quick, where can you find a great selection of Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Serta, and Mattress First bedding? Easy. The same place you'll find adjustable beds, sheets, pillows, mattress protectors, and more. Sleep Retreat, inside fashion furniture. It's worth the time to walk through and imagine what your home could look like with beautiful new furniture. Or how comfortable you'll be on your new mattress. Fashion Furniture on El Paso, across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
It's finally here, homecoming week for your Bulldog football team. And better yet, it's a blackout homecoming game this Saturday. The Dogs host rival San Diego State at 12:30 p.m. And make sure you're in your seats early so you don't miss any of the action. Halftime is going to be one to remember as we honor the one and only Jeff Tedford and we induct him into the Ring of Honor. So grab your blackout gear, head to GoBulldogs.com today and grab your tickets for the biggest party in the Valley.
Hey, it's Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench for my friends at Valley Athletics, the new go-to sports facility in the Central Valley. Founded by Valley legend Vance Wahlberg and former Bulldog volleyball coach Jonathan Winder. Valley Athletics allows athletes to really shine at volleyball, basketball, and pickleball. Visit valleyathletics.co right now to learn more about enrolling in our current volleyball and basketball offerings that include league play. That's valleyathletics.co. Proud sponsors of high school athletics.
Prices on steel and materials are going up, but at Pacific Steel Supply, they're still delivering the best deals in the industry. Whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, or ag projects, Pacific Steel Supply will match or beat any competitor's price by an extra 10% on top quality steel, metal roofing, and components. With 24/7 service, fast delivery, and the best prices, the time to act is now. Get your free quote today from Pacific Steel Supply in Fresno, Ashland, and Parkway off Highway 99 or online at pacificsteelsupply.com.
Welcome back to Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, here on this wonderful Tuesday. Not Tuesday, Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Big thanks to Jackson Moore for joining us in the last segment. Jackson Moore, Barkboard. Be sure to check out his stuff every week. Always good coverage of the Fresno State Bulldogs. Jorge, let's do a little daily spread, and I'm going to do a little rapid fire NBA scoreboard look here in terms of it, and take a look. By the way, daily spread brought to you by Chick Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. If you're not trying your luck with your teams, try your luck with Chick Chansey Gold Resort and Casino today. So we got 12 games on the docket here, Jorge. So let's see how quickly we can get through all of these. Cleveland and New York, that get Knicks 1.5 underdog. That's one of the big ones today. Cleveland Cavaliers. I got Cleveland in that one in terms of win on the road potential, but I think New York's going to be the better team this year. So I'm feeling the Knicks. Where are you at?
I feel that's about right.
Yeah,
that's about right. I think Cleveland. Cleveland's slightly better.
Yeah. Let's see what other ones we got. Notable ones, including Philadelphia, Boston tonight. Boston, a 5.5-point favorite against Philly. Lord knows if Paul George. Is anybody healthy on Philly? Is that true? Joel Embiid looks to be back, right? So I have no idea what the starting lineup will look. No, Paul George is back later this month. So he's still out in terms of it. But Joel Embiid is back. So Philly, Boston tonight, 5.5. Boston is the favorite.
Feels like a little high, but I can see that. Yeah.
How about Miami, Orlando? Orlando, 8.5-point favorite. People love Orlando this year, Jorge. People are feeling like Orlando is a team that is to be
playoff team,
not just playoff, but a dark horse finals team from the East Side. Yeah, how you feel about that?
It feels like they're a little bit too high, but if that's what's Orlando's carrying, then I think it might be level. Yeah, it might be just right.
How about later on the western side? How about some Clippers at Utah? 9.5-point favorites for the Clippers on the road against Utah. Utah might be one of the worst teams in the league. Feels like the Clippers should be able to handle it, right, tonight?
Yeah.
Win by 10?
Yeah, Clippers they're a good team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's about right.
How about Wemby going up against Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks? San Antonio versus Dallas. Dallas favored by 3 with Cooper Flagg and Anthony Davis and Klay Thompson. What do you feel?
Yeah, I think San Antonio is struggling a little bit, so that might be a low.
I feel Wemby goes crazy tonight.
Think so?
Feel like a big Wemby night tonight.
Okay.
How about your Kings at Phoenix? Kings are a 4-point underdog on the road against Jalen Green and the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. I wish it would have, but nah. Yeah, that's about right.
I'll pick your Kings, Jorge. I'll give you a win on opening night. Why not?
Get there, yeah.
Come on. Phoenix can't defend anybody. There's going to be no defense for Philly.
It's going to be a close game, but yeah.
Yeah. Zion on the road against Memphis, the New Orleans Pelicans, the revamped Zion Williamson. Memphis, 3.5-point favorites at home.
I go with
Grizz. Yeah. How about Minnesota, Portland tonight in Portland, Minnesota, 4.5-point favorites on the road. Portland, a underdog at home. I feel like Minnesota should handle that, right?
It feels that way. Might be a little bit closer than that, though.
Let's just do the whole slate. Why not? Brooklyn is Charlotte. Charlotte, 5.5-point favorite.
Ooh.
Brooklyn's horrible. I'm going to go Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say that's about right.
How about these are the two frisky teams, I think, of the East. Toronto and Atlanta. I think Toronto and Atlanta. I think I'm riding Atlanta this year. I feel like Atlanta's going to be a capable team. They're 5.5-point favorites this year. Or this game.
Frisky. Okay.
Frisky Atlanta.
I think that's a little bit too high. I think it's going to be lower than that.
Okay. Detroit and Chicago. In Chicago, Detroit 3.5-point favorites. Joe's favorite team, the Detroit Pistons, taking on the Bulls.
What is it again?
Detroit 3.5-point favorites on the road against Chicago.
Feels a little bit low, man. Yeah.
And I love looking at the over-unders in terms of like the game totals tonight. What game is going to have the most points tonight? According to Vegas, the highest over-under tonight goes to Toronto and Atlanta. They think that game is going to have the most scoring tonight.
No defense, huh?
No defense.
No defense.
You want to know what the all-defense game is going to be this evening?
Let's see.
Miami and Orlando. It's an over-under of 215.5.
I can see that.
Yeah. 215.5 in terms of it. There you go. Also got a couple college football games tonight for you. A little Middle Tennessee, Delaware tonight. Little Missouri State and New Mexico tonight as well. So
the Lobos or
no? Are they the Aggies? Is that what they are?
New Mexico State.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Aggies, the ones with the guns, the cowboy and the guns.
Is that how you recognize them?
It's the only way I can recognize them, Jorge. It's the human versus the Lobo. New Mexico State versus New Mexico.
They're different colors too, so I'm like
maroon and red. They're kind of same.
Okay.
You put them next to him. It's hard to tell. All right. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to come back with the second hour, and in the second hour, we're going to be joined, I believe, in person by a man who used to be in this studio for quite some time, Gabe Camarillo. Is going to join us from KMPH side now. For us here. He'll be joining us next, talking Fresno State and other things, high school football as well, all in the next hour. Stay with us. Behind the Bench rolls along on 1430.
Game day just got a whole lot sweeter and a little bit saucy. KFC's bringing back one of the most requested plays in menu history, the original Honey Barbecue. That's right, that sweet, smoky, finger-licking legend from the late 90s is back and better than ever. Now you can get that classic Honey Barbecue flavor on everything, including their 2-piece chicken combo for $10.99 or the original Honey Barbecue chicken sandwich for $11.99. The original Honey Barbecue, sweet, savory, and back in the game. And it's happening only at KFC.
Football season's here, and it's time to upgrade your home team's game plan with Robinson's Interiors. Whether you're hosting the big game or relaxing after a win, the right flooring can make all the difference. From durable hardwood to cozy carpet, Robinson's Interiors has the best selection and unbeatable prices, all backed by professional installation the Valley has trusted for over 40 years. So give yourself home field advantage. Don't wait for the touchdown. Visit Robinson's Interiors in Fresno and Hanford today. Robinson's Interiors, the Valley's flooring MVP.
Fresno, get ready for the flavor you didn't know you were missing. Chopped Cheese Bodega on the northwest corner of Blackstone and Bullard in Fresno, next to the 7-Eleven, is now open and serving up the East Coast classic right here in the Central Valley. From loaded chopped cheese sandwiches to crispy fries and house-made sauces, this is not your average deli. Follow at Chopped Cheese Fresno on Instagram to see the full menu. Real meat, real cheese, real good. Chopped Cheese, Bullard and Blackstone in Fresno.
Strong company culture doesn't happen by accident. It starts with well-trained managers who know how to lead with purpose. The Sandler Management Accelerated Program is a 10-week course that gives your leaders a clear roadmap to management success. They'll learn how to manage, develop, and retain your most valuable resource, your people. The next cohort starts Thursday, November 13th, so be sure to learn more at kcurtain.sandler.com. That's kcurtain.sandler.com.
Don't let your house become haunted this Halloween. Fresno Ag Hardware has everything you need to keep your home and yard from becoming a horror show. Gear up with top power tools from Milwaukee to steel, perfect for overgrown lawns and creepy corners. And don't forget to revive your lawn with ryegrass seed before winter. Plus, decorate with spooktacular Halloween decor, from lighting and cobwebs to inflatable decorations that scare up the fun. Shop in-store at Fresno Ag Hardware.
When you think of California business machines, it wouldn't surprise me if you automatically thought 3-cent color copies. It's something CBM has become locally famous for. But now there's something else business owners are calling about: business phone systems. It's a beautiful thing. Copiers, printers, office phone systems, all with one simple call to California Business Machines. 559-225-5570 or online at cbmsolution.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungeringAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the home of the San Francisco Giants, KFIG Fresno, 1430 ESPN.
Doubts of a mistake and a bad judgment they made. Jets, because if Willie Johnson's mad at that, he may be even madder that there's no solution to the problem at quarterback. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. NBA opening week rolling on with the opener of a doubleheader about to tip off on ESPN with Donovan Mitchell and the Cavaliers visiting Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. That's followed by the Spurs at the Mavericks and the NBA debut of the top overall pick in this year's draft, Dallas's Cooper Flagg, as well as the return of San Antonio young star Victor Wembanyama from deep vein thrombosis. Wemby needs to take a leap this season, says ESPN NBA analyst Chiney Ogwumike.
He is someone that can be a Defensive Player of the Year. He is someone that can be an MVP. He averaged 24 and 11 last year. He only played around 45, 46 games, obviously before going out with that health scare. This is the year of Victor Wembanyama. I know we always talk about who's the face of the NBA, who's the future face of the NBA. The reality is Victor can do that. He can own that. He can have that lane with his talents on both ends of the floor.
Big boost for the Magic in its home opener tonight. Point guard Jalen Suggs returns from arthroscopic knee surgery versus Miami. NFL Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels sidelined a third game this NFL season. He won't play Monday night at Kansas City due to a hamstring strain. Marcus Mariota starts in place of Daniels again. Daniels did miss 2 games earlier this season with a sprained knee. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson out the last 2 games with a hamstring injury, back at practice. 1-5 Baltimore hoping his return can help save their season after 4 straight losses. Whether Jackson plays this week versus the Bears depends on how much progress he makes this week. Tennessee baseball coach Tony Vitello, the new manager of the Giants, first time a big league team's hired a manager directly from college without any pro experience.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Thursday, the Dodgers are heavy favorites to win back-to-back World Series titles. But I'll tell you what, the Blue Jays have some hope in upsetting them. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
He's got the knowledge.
Because once again, I have to come on there and talk about how right I am once again in anything that it comes to sports.
He's got the questions.
I'm going to lose it. Are you kidding me? What are we doing here?
He's got the guests.
20th head coach in Fresno State history here, Matt. Is it hard to believe sometimes still, the 20th head coach here in program history?
It's all moved really quickly here over the course of the last 5-6 weeks. But super excited to be here.
Phil Bonatti is the voice for the Central Valley sports leader. Behind the Bench starts now. Brought to you by Helena Agri.
That is right. Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, here on this Wednesday, October 22nd, hour number 2 of our show. Reminder, you can reach us at the Lee's Air Plumbing, Heating, and Roofing Hotline, 559-320-1430, the way to reach us if you want to get in on the conversation. Live for this 4 o'clock hour, of course. Reminder, we're going up to 6 o'clock. Of course, over on 790 at 6 p.m. will be the Sunbird Sports Show, hosted by Paul Metters. So be sure to switch over as soon as we wrap up, and we'll send it over that way. All right, it's pleased to be joined by another guest of ours who comes in, and of course, is no stranger to the studio here. Gabe Camarillo of KMBH shows up now and is here for our another hour of our show. And Gabe, good to have you. Thanks for braving the rain. Some Californians would stay home.
Oh, it's already gone, but it was great to hear it as I woke up this morning, for sure.
Fantastic stuff. Of course, the aesthetic. It's full. What do the kids say? Aesthetic? Is that what they?
Yeah. Well, they say 6'7" too.
6'7". Are you in Club 7? Or,
what's that?
I guess you're not in Club 7, right?
Is that another inside?
It's another thing. Anyways, let's talk about everything going on. First of all, you're a busy guy. Back into the busy grind. I joked with Jackson before the last hour. I heard we may have had almost our third Fresno State practice affected by lightning this morning. In terms of it, which I think if you count on one hand, the last time it's happened, maybe in the last 20 years, it would still only stay on one hand. But I'm sure Entz was maybe not feeling totally thrilled about how the weather was developing this morning. But he also did point out Bulldogs are 2-0 in a rainstorm in practice the last 2 times this season. Do you take anything to that stat I throw at you just now?
No, I wonder though. They need every minute of practice they could get. So even if it was a lightning storm, would Entz maybe tell kids, let's come back later in the day and get some practice in? Or I don't know if he's allowed to do that, but
I know. Well, with the class schedule and everything like that.
I know. That's what I'm thinking too. Like, probably not, because these are student athletes too.
Yeah. Well, of course, these guys are going to be showing up at 9 a.m. at the facility for the game coming up on Saturday, right? Anyway, so
it's already such a different week because you got homecoming, so there's a lot of festivities on campus for that. And then a lot of these players know that Jeff Tedford will be watching them on Saturday, and he's going to be honored at halftime. And then they know that they're going to be wearing these cool new uniforms, the new helmets, and then obviously the black and red jersey and pants that they wore in a blowout last year against San Jose State. That's what has me kind of hopeful for the Bulldogs a little bit, because they do play differently in those uniforms. They talked about it last year, how it just had some more juice. They need that extra juice because they're playing against a better team, in my opinion, on Saturday. A better team than them.
Frankly, it feels at least they're playing better football than this team, than our Bulldogs have been playing the last, whatever it has been over the last few weeks. And so let's turn back the time machine a little bit. And I want to prepare this game in terms of the way you've been preparing this game since back to college football, the Mountain West media days. And I think you have hit the nail on the head of the storyline this week. And even it's been fun watching Twitter because there's a video that just blew up a couple days ago. I think
the fight in the Fresno State San Diego game from
1992, where guys were chucking helmets at each other and going full Myles Garrett on everybody in terms of it. But Gabe, you are digging into this rivalry, which, of course, this rivalry is one of the ones that will continue on with the new Pac-12, so it's not necessarily going away, but it matters. At least it seems like it matters to the team of the South.
And I wonder if it's just because Entz knows that he wants the guys focused on beating San Diego State because they need to bounce back from an embarrassing loss to Colorado State, because they need to stay alive in the Mountain West title picture. I also could have asked that question better, I think, but also Entz doesn't really know that much about Fresno State versus San Diego State. Sean Lewis yesterday at his press conference, though, was giving the San Diego media the whole history lesson about how this was an oil can found in the San Diego State construction project in the 30s. And then they just kept the can and used it as a trophy for the Bulldogs versus Aztecs game. So Sean Lewis, former Wisconsin tight end, former Colorado assistant coach, doesn't know much at all about San Diego State before he becomes head coach there, but he does the research, and I think he's trying to get his guys a little extra juice for this game because they're the favorite, and they're going to be the ones going on the road. The Aztecs are. And so I think that might just be Sean Lewis's way of trying to get the team fired up. I don't think Entz has to do much to get this team fired up. They're already upset that they lost to Colorado State when they shouldn't have, and they'll tell you that themselves. They're already upset that this is a must-win game for them, whereas for San Diego State, if they were to lose this game, San Diego State could still make the conference championship with a loss on their schedule. Fresno State cannot afford another loss, especially having to go to Boise next week.
No, there's too many hurdles, especially head-to-head. If you lose any games down the stretch, especially these next two, just kiss it goodbye. You're probably going to New Mexico Bowl again.
But is that a bad thing, though? Because what did we expect going into this season? Did we expect a conference championship, or are we pleasantly surprised that the team won 5 of the first 6?
You're hitting the nail on the head of what I asked the question about when we followed the Monday after the Colorado State game, and I sit there and I say, did 5-2, the mark feel like the mark you wanted through 7 games of Coach Entz? If Coach Entz won that game on Friday, 2 weeks ago, 12 days ago, he would have had the greatest start in Fresno State history as a head coach.
Yep.
Like, put it into perspective. He is doing what he can with the pieces that are in front of him. He had to go pick at the scrap heap of what we had so far. No offense to some of the players out there, but let's be honest, Entz is starting to bring in the recruits that he probably will want, and we'll see in the next couple of years in terms of how it all turned out. Right now, he's making do with what he has, which was a 6-6 ball club a year ago that was inconsistent, mildly inconsistent throughout the whole season last year.
He had to replace a quarterback, a running back, 3 receivers. He had to replace both linebackers from last year, most of the defensive line. He replaced them well, though. He got guys in the transfer portal that are making plays. Jaden Pearson, Kivion Thunderbird. I don't think he's going to play on Saturday, but in the previous games, he has played very well.
Yeah.
And then you look at on offense, Rayshawn Speedy Luke is the home run transfer get of the offseason. And I think he is absolutely critical to Fresno State's chances of winning on Saturday.
But it is right to criticize the performance Friday while also understanding the perspective of where we are right now as what the football team is. 5-2, yes.
Yeah, the goalposts have shifted for sure.
It certainly has, based off of the play of how well they played against Oregon State down the stretch in that game. Of course,
how well they played against Oregon State.
Or Georgia Southern in that second half is probably the best 2 quarters, I think, out of
Georgia
the entire.
Southern. Okay, now this is where I kind of agree with some of the fans. They haven't played well against bad teams. They didn't play well against Oregon State.
I think Hawaii's a good team.
Hawaii is a good team.
I think Hawaii is a good team.
They didn't play well against them either because
I think defensively they played fantastic.
I should add that. Yes, the defense fantastic. I mean, Micah Alejado is a great quarterback, but he looked lost in that game. The offense, though, I mean, let's be honest. The fumble by Warner that led to the
safety,
touchdown. The safety, yes. The safety as well.
Fumble,
both those plays, offense, miscues. And then, in that second half, they did get the big play to Cam Beachum. That's what I'm realizing about this Fresno State offense. If they don't get the big play, they're not getting a touchdown. Rayshawn Speedy Luke, 49-yard touchdown run against Oregon State. If not for that, they lose to Oregon State.
Yeah.
So this team relies too much on big plays on offense for my taste.
Where there was a 68-yard run in the Nevada game, didn't yield a touchdown, but that basically took the most of the chunk of the rushing yards in terms of how Fresno State was moving the football outside of that final drive with Brandon Ramirez sealing a couple ones in terms of it. But there is not consistency. I think we're picking spots in terms of games, but we're not looking at one game and saying, wow, Fresno State really showed up in this one in terms of all phases.
Yeah, the defense played well against Hawaii, and I would say the offense at times played well against Oregon State, especially when they needed that field goal drive in the final minute, and EJ doesn't make a bad throw. He decides to run with his legs and pick up enough yards to put Lynch in position. Lynch also went 3 for 3 in the fourth quarter. We don't talk about that enough. That's why they beat Oregon State, and that's why Oregon State has one win and fired their coach.
Exactly.
So that's just not enough consistency. I agree. That's why this team feels so weird to talk about, because they have been good enough to win 5 games, but they've done it not convincingly. And that upsets a lot of Bulldog fans who want to chase a championship, and now they have to face against, as I said, a better San Diego State team. San Diego plays better defense. They have a more consistent offense, and I would argue they have more NFL talent on their roster than Fresno State does.
It's going to be fascinating what the matchup is, but I want to go back to, you mentioned, the goalpost moving in terms of everything, and I feel like the fans move the goalpost all the time. And that's fair. You can be a fan and understand and assess what this team is week in and week out. It is a week in and week out sport. You are as good as what you put in last time in terms of it. Now, the margin of that game on Friday 2 weeks ago, I don't think tells the story of exactly why that game failed the way it did. I don't think Fresno State is necessarily 28 points worse than Colorado State. I just think the nature of the game presented it in that fact.
The turnovers and the penalties mostly, I think, led to a bigger deficit.
What is the bigger issue for you? Because I have an argument the penalties are a bigger issue than the turnovers. And that is where I stand, but I wonder where you sit.
Well, when CSU scored because one of the Bulldog defensive linemen jumped off sides on 4th and 4, that directly on a field goal directly led to a touchdown. So that's just, to your point, how a penalty was almost as bad as EJ's fumble that was a scoop and score touchdown.
Yeah.
However, when Fresno State was in that game in the third quarter, I know Entz made that decision to go forward on 4th down. We're talking about a game that happened 2 weeks ago, but just I wonder if they kicked a field goal there. You're still down multiple scores, but at least you're getting closer. It's 35-24. They went for 4th down. I don't have an issue with that call. But then the turnovers after that call, the 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter when you're trying to come back.
Yeah, I think those were desperation turnovers.
Absolutely.
I think they don't count. I think they're not weighted as heavily as the, when we're, opening drive against Nevada and you just throw a pick right there on the opening drive on the outside and the guy just jumps the route. That's weighted heavier. Of course, we got the interception. Chuba Purdy loves to give us the football in terms right after that on a deep pass. But that interception to me weighted much more heavily than desperation, trying to come back, just playing out of your system, playing out of what you're used to, and just having to make something happen.
But that just eliminated your chance of coming back against Colorado State, those 2 interceptions. And so that's what I'm saying is the turnovers are a bigger issue to me, because if you're playing from behind, which Fresno State could be on Saturday, you're worrying that your quarterback will throw an interception. And that's why there's been some talk of, are they going to make a change here soon? Because when Matt Entz named EJ Warner the starting quarterback, he said he doesn't want him to be comfortable. He wants him to be executing at a high level. And if that's not happening, then he said, don't call it a short leash, but we want to make sure he's executing.
And that was before game 1.
Was EJ Warner executing this past game against Colorado State? Arguably not, right? He fumbled the football. He got stripped when he was running, led to a CSU touchdown.
Taking a few massive sacks.
Yeah, and that could be on the O-line too. The O-line has had some injuries. They got Braden Walton back, but it's honestly important for me as well to see the run game going, because I do think naturally, because of the quarterback position, everyone's going to be focusing on EJ's mistakes. But isn't it easier for EJ when Donaldson and Luke are going? Like, can this be a game where Fresno State can finally figure out its run game issues that have been kind of plaguing them? No one's really talking about it, but the run game has not looked good in a few weeks.
I'm going through the thought process, and this ties to what, because I talked to Jackson last hour, and it seems like teams are teeing up now on the run game, and they're just ready to go.
Yeah.
And they're just going to go totally sell out on it. And because they know they can't get beat with what EJ is presenting in terms of it. And as much as I like the things EJ has done in terms of game-winning drives in the clutch where you need it, making the plays, making the scrambles you need it, in the wins we've seen, of course, I'm not pointing out the Colorado State game. I don't know if the threat's there enough to validate him staying there at the quarterback position to allow this offense to try to get back to where it's gone.
So let's throw Carson Conklin in, who has played 1 quarter this whole season.
That's fair. But let's be honest. You have to be honest as a defense if you don't have much on the other guy.
I don't think it's fair to throw a backup quarterback in this type of game. And that might not make people happy to hear, but E.J. Warner got you here. And true, he got you those 2 losses.
I understand that, yes.
But he got you at least one of those wins. The Oregon State game, he had to lead a team down the field for a game-winning drive, and he did.
But I'm not necessarily calling for – I'm presenting the situation of – I'm not asking for E.J. to be on the bench to start game on Saturday. But I'm asking for the leash to be pretty short in terms of where the game could not get away from you in this one. I think there is potential for change in this game.
Yeah.
And I think Entz has indicated potential for change in this game in the press conference. It's been different with his answers, I think. And I think you noticed it as well when he actually had a little bit of criticism to EJ in the press conference. All it's been has been EJ's our starter, EJ's our guy. He's moving along, he's doing his things. But he's like he needs to forget about the last place. He needs to turn, burn, and return. And I don't think he's doing that. And I think that's what Entz was telling us. And I think that opens the door for Entz to allow himself to convince himself that maybe Conklin is open to coming into this game on Saturday.
I think he wants EJ to be comfortable and not to overthink out there, because perhaps some of these mistakes that he's making is a result of overthinking and maybe pressing a little bit. He wanted him to have skin like a duck, which means don't let 1 turnover turn into 2 and 2 into 4. And I don't know how you can tell that to EJ, but also tell him, if you make a mistake, you're out of here. Like, you can't tell a guy, don't worry about making mistakes. Like, just be cool, have skin like a duck. And then also, if you make a mistake, we're going to go to Carson. Like that, I think Entz is trying to make his starting quarterback comfortable as much as he can, because a comfortable EJ is a good EJ. I mean, think of some of the best times we've seen this quarterback play. The first half against Hawaii. He looked comfortable. They didn't score a point, but it wasn't because of him. Well, actually, maybe it was because of the lateral.
The whole
fumble thing we talked about earlier, and then the safety. But they moved the ball. They couldn't score. They couldn't kick field goals for some reason against Hawaii. He played well against Hawaii. He looked pretty good against Southern, but again, that's Southern.
Yeah, Southern's what Southern is. He actually didn't turn the ball over against Southern. It's the only game he hasn't turned the ball over, but it was 2 turnovers from our running backs, fumbles.
Second quarter against Nevada looked like hurt out there.
Yeah.
But then, the second half, they couldn't complete a pass.
But I want you to put yourself in the mindset of EJ here, and I want to ask the question. When your coach says he needs to be mentally sharper to, like, forget things.
And tells that to the media, how do I feel?
How do you feel?
I think he's right? I mean, that's probably what his dad would say. Yeah. Actually, if you want to know what his dad would say, just go on Twitter. He's telling the whole world how his son is a good quarterback. Now, that's a different topic for maybe another show. But
would you I know everybody's built different, but as EJ, like, is that vote of confidence from coach? Like, you trying to say coach is giving you, or is that something else?
Well, coach already gave you the vote of confidence when the media member asks, "Is EJ Warner your quarterback?" And Entz says right away, yes. So that's the vote of confidence.
Yeah.
But I think Entz maybe trying to coach EJ up through the media, saying, let it go if you make a mistake, because one mistake maybe won't kill us, but the second or third one will lose us the game in this huge matchup against San Diego State.
There's so much pressure to it now, right? Because any ounce of an idea of a turnover now will make that stadium turn really fast.
I'm sure it will. Now, EJ doesn't know what all the fans are saying because he's so unplugged from social media.
But he heard it against Nevada. He didn't have to know what was being said on social media. He threw that first pick on that first drive, and he heard it. He heard it, Gabe.
And I'm sure he'll hear it if he throws a pick to Chris Johnson, the All-American corner for San Diego, or to someone else. I'm sure he'll find out real quickly that the fans are tired of the turnovers, and as they should be. It's what's losing this team's the game against Colorado State.
Yeah.
What's crazy to me is that Fresno State is one of the worst teams in the country in turnover margin, but they force some of the most turnovers in the country on defense. It's just because they've given up so many on offense that they're negative turnover margin.
Oh, I bet college football fans just love our games. It's just the chaotic nature of them. But outside of that, it is not fun to root for.
Our defense is playing great this year.
Yeah.
The defense for Fresno State has been lights out. It's been why this team is 5-2.
Outside of Colorado State, though.
Yeah, and that was just tackling.
Aberration.
Tackling, that was also an issue against Kansas. And you hope it's not an issue against San Diego State because they do have some legit playmakers. Yeah. I'm a fan of their running back, Lucky Sutton.
Yeah.
They're probably going to try and feed him early and push Fresno State physically because that's what Fresno State's calling card is supposed to be, right? Being the most physical team in the country and pushing guys around. And that's why I've been surprised that the run game isn't being talked about a lot. Now, there are those huge plays that they get. Rayshawn Luke had a 60-something yard run against Nevada. They didn't play well against Hawaii and Colorado State in the run game.
Yeah.
Last time
the coach said they averaged well against Colorado State.
Right, but they ran the ball 21 times. They had 21 called run plays, the fewest all season because they were down. And what if that happens against San Diego State? What if San Diego State gets a turnover, jumps ahead 14-0? That's the worst case scenario for the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs are dead.
If they win the coin toss,
I'd take the ball.
Take the ball. Yes, exactly. Push the envelope.
We're overdue for a break. We got to take one here. But Gabe, I want to tell you this. I'll tease it here. I think the fans have the biggest hand in this game coming up on Saturday as well. And we'll talk about it. I think we'll discuss it next if we're on the same page. Stay with us. Behind the Bench rolls on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
Hey, it's Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench. In sports, when you take a hard hit, you count on your team. In life, after an accident, your team is Davis and Van Wagenen, attorneys at law. Right here in Fresno, they've helped Valley families win the compensation they deserve, and you don't pay unless they win. Visit DavisVanWagenenLaw.com. That's DavisVanWagenenLaw.com. Davis and Van Wagenen, your hometown injury attorneys.
Prices on steel and materials are up everywhere, but you can still get unbeatable value for your residential, commercial, industrial, or ag projects at Pacific Steel Supply in Fresno. They'll match or beat any competitor's price by at least 10% on top quality steel, metal roofing, and components. Ready when you are. Massive inventory? Yes. Same-day delivery? Yes. 24/7 service? Yes. Get your free quote today. Call or swing by Pacific Steel Supply, Ashland and Parkway in Fresno, off Highway 99, or visit PacificSteelSupply.com.
Life gets messy, but your space doesn't have to. We are Rise and Shine Janitorial and Commercial Cleaning Services, where we clean because your time is important. From offices to schools to medical facilities, Rise and Shine handles it all with our trained staff and high-performance standards. Big jobs or small, Rise and Shine will never lock you into a contract. So let us take the stress off your plate. Contact Rise and Shine Janitorial and Commercial Cleaning Services. Call 559-649-5391 or visit RiseShine559.com.
Get ready for game day with Toledo's Football Party Pack. 2 dips, queso, guacamole, or bean and chorizo. Order online, pick it up fast at any of the 3 locations, and you're set. Or head to Toledo's new sports bar at Cedar and Knees, the Valley's new game day headquarters, for your favorite college and NFL matchups on the big screens. And you'll love their happy hour, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5. Saturday and Sunday, 8 to 10, with $10 apps and $7 house margaritas. Toledo's Mexican Restaurant, your winning game plan.
On game day, don't just settle for weak snacks. You go big, like a boss. The Butcher Boss brings you the kickoff platter, stacked high with man-sized, fully cooked meats. Tender sliced tri-tip, fall off the bone, pork spare ribs, smoked sausage, fiery jalapeno poppers, already sliced, already prepped. This Sunday, don't just watch the game, own it with a kickoff platter from the Butcher Boss. So call today to pre-order yours. The Butcher Boss, 41 south of Riverstone.
Are you a business owner struggling to understand how cloud technology can help your business? Are you in need of computer and technology support for your employees? M-Cubed Technologies is your solution for fully managed IT services. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. M-Cubed will be your partner in the digital world, allowing your business to carry on worry-free. We specialize in cloud hosting, Microsoft 365 management, general IT support, and VoIP phone services. Call M-Cubed Technologies today to discuss our partnerships.
Would you like to find ways to reduce your tax liabilities and keep more of the money you work so hard to earn? Now's the time to look at strategies aimed at improving your tax situation. That way, you can make any tax-saving adjustments and have them take effect before the end of this tax year. Thiessen-Duker Modern Wealth Management is here to help. We use comprehensive software designed to overlay all of your assets and investments with current market data and tax law. It's built to analyze all of this information and recommend adjustments that could reduce your tax liabilities. Thiessen-Duker invests in this technology because we're committed to doing everything we can to help our clients reduce their taxes. We can even collaborate with their CPAs and tax attorneys. Get us working for you. Visit Thiessen-Duker.com for our locations and contact information and give us a call today.
The advisors of Thiessen-Duker Modern Wealth Management are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Thiessen-Duker and LPL Financial do not offer tax advice or tax preparation services.
1830 ESPN Fresno the Valley's local sports leader. Gabe Camarillo sitting across from me for the next hour. We're talking Fresno State. We'll talk into high school as well. We'll get into that because we're 2 weeks away from the high school season wrapping up as well. So we'll discuss it. But let's talk about this game on Saturday in terms of, it's an unusual game. I wouldn't even count like going back to the UConn game as one that counts in terms of everybody getting used to the game time, because even then it was like, I think it was pods and people had to like sit in certain sections. You couldn't have the full bowl right in 2021. So I'm trying to recall like an actual 12:30 kick where it was like that, where obviously COVID wasn't affecting anything. So, and I can't think of one. I think
the last one was when they beat Boise in 17.
That's right, the game that allegedly didn't matter anyway, and we still had to go to the blue turf on that. I think one of my favorite 12:30 kicks ever was when Derek and Devontae went absolutely crazy on New Mexico State. That was 2013.
Joe Davis on the call.
Yeah, World Series announcer. That's going to be starting in a couple days. But Devontae had like 400 yards. Carr had like almost 700 or something stupid like that.
That's the worst thing that ever happened in New Mexico since Walter White.
Crazy stuff. I don't think we're going to get that offensive fireworks show.
Probably not.
Yeah,
safe bet. I mean, these are the two best defenses in the conference. It'll probably be first one to 20.
What is the over-under on that one? Like, do we got a
Shoot.
Vegas line? I'm looking at it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick while we
I'll guess.
get to it. Yeah.
We'll do a little
I got it here.
Guess the line here.
Yeah, you want to guess the line?
28.5 over-under?
Over-under
No,
total points?
No. Sorry. 40.5.
47.5.
47.5.
Do you want to guess the line? Who's favored by what?
3. I already know. That's 3.5. San Diego State.
Went down to 3.
Okay.
Fresno 3-point underdog at home. Interesting. I teased before we went to break that I thought the fans have a big hand in this game, if not the biggest hand in this game. And Gabe, you and I, we may have been talking off air about in the past few weeks how I think a lot of people, I think myself included, I went blaze of glory in terms of how poor the showing was in the Nevada game in terms of the second half. And I get it. People have places to be. Times of games are not determined by Fresno State. It's determined by who wants to get the game on television. And 7:30 kick is very difficult. But when I saw 12:30, I said, well, great. No one has an excuse anymore to not be loud in this fourth quarter, third quarter of this football game. And I say this is important because this game needs the fans to be in full throat, because San Diego State runs a no-huddle style offense that uses a lot of communication, makes sure everybody's on the same page in terms of it. If it's loud and crazy, you could get mistakes from the San Diego State offense. I think the fans have the biggest hand in a game this year so far in terms of the outcome of it. And I need to believe that everybody can stick around until about 4 p.m. on Saturday.
I'm going to read some of the replies to my post on X that I right away put up because when I saw that it was a 12:30 kickoff, I said, no excuses for not having a full stadium in the fourth quarter, right?
Yep. No excuses, right?
Well, you would think so.
Yeah,
some people said, I got my kid's football game. That's tough. I don't know if there's a way to maybe come after the football game.
Yeah.
There's also got to beat the traffic. Someone said that's going to be the main excuse. Got to beat that traffic.
To win.
Fresno's known for traffic.
Traffic where? Like what time? Like you want to be home by 5? Is that just you beating what? I don't get it.
Then you got someone said depends on the product that's on the field, which is always my favorite fan excuse.
Oh my gosh. Football
team's not good. I'm not going to support them. So I'm telling you, if you're not doing well, should your fans support you personally?
Right.
If you're struggling in life, should that mean that your support system disappears because you're not doing that well, so I'm just going to leave? No, obviously not. Like you need to be supported when you're at your worst. When Fresno State's down in the game, that's when the Bulldogs need the red wave. Not the other way around where the red wave only supports you when the Bulldogs are leading. So
if the product's not good, Gabe, imagine that. 3-0 at home, 5-2 overall on the record, and yet we're questioning if the product's not good.
They have one of the best defenses in the conference, and in different categories, they have one of the best defenses in the country. But, if the product's not good on the field, I'm not going to be a fan. Well, you're not a fan if that's the case. You're a follower. You follow the team when they're doing well, but you're really a fan when you cheer for them if they're doing bad.
I said this right after the Nevada game on Monday. You have every right to leave the game early, but you do not have the right then to be critical of the team anymore. Like, you lose that right.
For sure.
Because you bailed on it. And you don't get to comment on what this team needs to look like or what it needs to be in terms of the product on the field because you chose to abstain from that conversation by leaving. By leaving the game, you have chosen not to have a participation into the conversation of how this game goes.
Consider Fresno State football to be a friend. Would you be there for your friend if they're only doing well? Or would you be there for them if they're struggling as well?
Yeah. It's one of the more infuriating aspects I'm not trying to be here and just say the fans stink at Fresno State. I'm not trying to do that. There is good fandom.
Great attendance every game.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you right now, there are no more excuses. There are no more excuses to it. It doesn't have to be undefeated every year like that 2013 year. And I remember being in the stadium when those games were going, and it was impossible to find an empty seat in those. And unfortunately, it feels like Fresno State fans have the measure of, well, we lose a couple, I'm out. I'm out on that. I'm done.
Well, I think we can blame/thank one man for that.
Yeah.
Jeff Tedford. I mean, he raised the standard for everybody when he took over a 1-win team and made it a 10-win team and then made it a championship team the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes in again when they need him after DeBoer leaves and turns a 1-4 team into a championship team again. So I feel like it's ironic that Jeff Tedford's being honored for multiple reasons. First, his last game as a Bulldog head coach was against San Diego State at Snapdragon. I really remember that game vividly. And now the next time the Bulldogs face the Aztecs, he'll be in the Ring of Honor. Also, I think Tedford's owned San Diego State. I think he's always beaten them when he's had to. And now that Fresno State's in a situation where they have to beat San Diego State, it's good to have a good luck charm in the building. And that good luck charm is Jeff Tedford. But because he won so much, that's just the expectation now. Like, they're 5-2, but it's not enough for some of the fans because they could be 6-1. They lost to a team that just fired its head coach.
Yeah.
I understand that. I understand that completely.
I want to ask, because I want to go to the Tedford side and the storylines of this game itself, but I want to go back one more thing to the fans here real quick, because you asked in the press conference about did he notice anything with the fans not being there, and he kind of shoot it away.
He doesn't want to make enemies with the fans.
I get that.
But Tedford did not care. But Tedford would challenge the fans.
I was about to say, Skipper would do it too. And I wonder if you had truth serum for Entz, do you think he's actually not paying attention to what's going on in the stadium? I see him looking around all the time. He's always looking up in the broadcast. You see him in the highlights. The guy knows. The guy knows. Do you think truth serum he needs more from these people?
I think he does, and I think just because he's new, he might not want to step on any toes. Tedford, dude's a legend here in Fresno just for what he did, like I said, and so he probably has more latitude to say things that might rile the fans up.
Yeah.
Skipper, too. Maybe Skipper had less latitude and more pushback from some of the fans, but both those guys, Bulldog lifers, they know how important the Red Wave can be in games like this. Just think about 2013 against Boise State, that Friday night. That fan base was so loud and really changed the game, in my opinion. And just other games in Bulldog history, there's been some where the fans were not there. Like the last home win against San Diego State. You will find a lot of liars out there who said they went to the game and remember watching
I have friends who left.
13 points.
I know friends who left and were in the parking lot and heard the sirens go again.
15
after that
points in
touchdown.
13 seconds. People will lie to you and say, "Oh, I remember that," because there were a few thousand people in the stands. I remember being there. I was there because I had to.
Yeah.
I had my job, right?
Yeah.
A few thousand people were there. So if there's more than like 7,000 that say they were there for that, then there's a couple of fibs being told.
Put in perspective, because like when you talk about that game, and that could be, I think, like what, number 1 or 2 of the all-time Tedford wins.
Yeah, that'd be a great segment we should do. Honestly.
Yeah, the Tedford wins. People forget UCLA is not one of them. People forget that's a DeBoer win.
Oh yeah, I know. And the San Diego win when the Aztecs were ranked was a DeBoer win too. That's up there for me, like top 5 in the last 10 years.
Yeah. But in terms of that game, remember what that team was going through when they got into that game? Was it a 2-4 record?
Yeah,
in terms
and Hainer
was barely walking,
questionable. Yeah,
barely walking, and we were like, really, we're gonna, he's gonna be okay? Like, is that gonna be, And then obviously the miracle happened, and the team went on and had one of the best runs ever in Fresno State history in terms of getting to a championship ride. Do you feel that energy going into this game where it's like back against the wall? This team can't afford another loss if they want to do what they want to do, which is compete for a championship. Do you feel similarities there? I'm not saying necessarily injury-wise with EJ in the quarterback position, but just questioning on what the capability of this team is going into this game.
I do feel that. I also feel like this is a repeat of last year's homecoming game, not just because of the blackout, but because they were coming off a bye week and a heartbreaking loss before that to Washington State last year, where they could have beat John Mateer and the Cougars, but the quarterback made a terrible mistake at the worst possible time, and everyone wanted to bench Mikey Keene after that. Just like how this week, after a bye week, we had a long time to talk about E.J. Warner and kind of overlook some of the things he does well, like the completion percentage, like the ability to feed different receivers. One thing you can't say about Fresno State's offense is it is just 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah.
They do have multiple dudes to lean on. They got 3 running backs now with Brando, Donaldson, and Luke. They got Avit coming back healthy. I think not having him against CSU was underrated.
Yeah.
Not having Ezekiel Avit really hurt this team. You got him. You got Freeman. If they can get Richie Anderson and Tarwater going as well, like that's when this offense is clicking, when they get all the guys contributing, when you can't say that this team only has 1 or 2 playmakers on offense.
Where does your Bulldog fandom say happens on Saturday, and what does your actual brain tell you?
Both tell me that San Diego State's the better team. I mean, and that's not to denigrate the Bulldogs. San Diego State's one of the top 3 teams in the conference, with Boise and UNLV right ahead of them. So for Fresno State to win and to prove themselves as also in that upper crest of the conference, they're probably going to have to win a low-scoring game. Like, I thought it was 40.5. I guess it's 47.5. I'll probably think a total of 47 points are scored. Final score 27-20. And I'm going to go with San Diego State to win it. I don't have any problem being the contrarian here. And a lot of people saying, oh, you're rooting against the Bulldogs. I'm being realistic here. This team did not show us enough against CSU and Nevada, 2 teams that the Aztecs destroyed, to make me think that they can beat San Diego State, even with the home field advantage and all the hype of homecoming and the blackout and the Tedford induction. I think it is going to be close. There will be a turnover from EJ. I think that's going to happen. I don't think Entz will bench him after a turnover, though. I think it would be hypocritical, I'll say this again, for Entz to say, have skin like a duck, don't let 1 turn into 2, let it go. but also if you make a turnover, we're going to bench you. Like, both those things cannot be said to the same person, unless you disagree.
It's where I stand. I think one turnover is it, because I think the crowd gets loud. I think the crowd gets really loud, and that can affect EJ no matter what it is. And if it's a guy who has trouble moving on, I think that'll be something that can compound itself in the game. And that's me just evaluating it from like a psychological standpoint to it. It's not that I'm not giving him a fair shot. It's just I don't know if he's capable of digging him out of that hole to give us what we need from the quarterback position the rest of the game.
Well, make life easy for EJ. Make the run game great again. Make this offense humming again. Make the big plays happen again. Like, have Luke have a 40-yard run, or have Bryson Donaldson refine his form, because he has struggled a little bit since having that huge game against Georgia Southern. And then also, how about Brandon Ramirez? I think there's a great argument for him to get some more carries after what we saw from him against Nevada in that fourth quarter, and even when he had that touchdown run called back so criminally, I would say. That was a criminal act to take that touchdown away from Brandon Ramirez for an illegal formation.
We'll get into it. We got to look into it. We'll put on their investigative journalism hats on and see if we get there. Gabe, good thoughts on the game. We talked a lot about Fresno State, but I do want to get to some high school stuff. So I want to take a break. Let's do a little bit of high school. Big game at Collegian and many others around, but I want to get your take on what's going to be coming up here on Friday nights as well. So let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk high school sports next on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
Fall has arrived at Patrick James, where style meets tradition. Come in and see the latest items from the brands you love. Peter Millar, Robert Graham, Faraday, and True Grit, just to name a few. Stop by and experience our brand new shop-in-shops featuring Johnny O and the very first Martin Dingman shop west of the Rockies. Discover finely crafted apparel, exceptional service, and a locally owned store that's been serving the Valley for generations. Patrick James, where looking your best begins this fall.
Hey, Spooky Stoners, Valley Pure is brewing deals that'll raise your spirits. Get 50% off aging flour from Valley Pure, Cowgirl, and Dots while supplies last. It's frighteningly good. Want more magic? Snag a pre-roll for just a penny with the purchase of any Valley Pure, Cowgirl, or Dots products. Exclusions apply. Stop by any of our 5 Valley Pure locations or order on the app for quick pickup before these ghostly goodies vanish into thin air. Elevate your stash this spooky season with Valley Pure, if you dare.
Get ready for the ultimate Monday Night Showdown, only at Chachansey Gold. Starting September 8th through December 29th, win your share of $80,000 in giveaways, including $51,000 in e-cash. Earn entries all day Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Then join us for drawings every Monday from 5 to 8 p.m. Swipe your rewards card during the game inside Firehouse Lounge for a free entry into over $28,000 in prizes, including football gear and more. Game day starts here at Chachansey Gold.
At Citizens Business Bank, we've been taking a personal approach to banking for over 40 years and are consistently recognized as one of the top performing banks in the nation. Hi, I'm Susan Woosner, Senior Vice President and Manager of Citizens Business Bank in Fresno. We believe in the importance of building long-lasting and genuine relationships with our customers. We want to provide you with the solutions you need to grow your business because your success is our success. Citizens Business Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, this is Coach Spencer. The 9th annual Fresno State Alumni and Friends Classic tees off Monday, November 3rd at Sunnyside Country Club. Join us for this premier 2-man best ball tournament featuring Nat Gross and alumni flights. All proceeds benefit the Fresno State men's golf program, helping student athletes succeed on and off the course. Space is limited to the first 55 teams, so don't wait. Register by October 27th. For details, contact my email, cspencer@mail.fresnostate.edu.
It's finally here, homecoming week for your Bulldog football team. And better yet, it's a blackout homecoming game this Saturday. The Dogs host rival San Diego State at 12:30 p.m. And make sure you're in your seats early so you don't miss any of the action. Halftime is going to be one to remember as we honor the one and only Jeff Tedford and we induct him into the Ring of Honor. So grab your blackout gear, head to GoBulldogs.com today and grab your tickets for the biggest party in the Valley.
Get your business noticed and stand out from the crowd by visiting Megaprints. Working with the Valley's most prestigious and high-profile businesses since 1998, we print and install custom-designed signs for businesses of all types and sizes. From yard signs to banners to wallpaper and fleet graphics, Megaprints has the state-of-the-art capability to turn the signage you've dreamed of into a reality. Visit megaprints.com today to see our work and what we can do for your business.
Hey, it's Ariana Grande.
And Blake Shelton.
And I'm so excited to join The Voice this season.
I'll put it on social media so everyone knows. Now get ready to hear the likes pouring in. Darn, the internet must be broken again.
I'll just give it a try on mine, just in case. Huh. Guess they fixed the internet.
The new season of The Voice with Ariana Grande premieres tonight on NBC.
Okay, now you're just rubbing it in.
Here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. Final segment of the second hour. We got another hour coming after that, but Gabe's going to stick around one more hour. Gabe Camarillo or one more segment. No, sorry, I'm not making your plans for you. One more segment here, unless you want it. Anyways, no, Gabe's here from KPH with us, and we're going to talk high school here before we got to send it off for the final hour there. But Gabe, 2 weeks left before the playoffs. We came into the season, $1 million question was what the new revamped playoff system would look like in terms of just the rule, in terms of the move up, 25% rule in terms of it. I saw a good breakdown. I think I got sent. Paul Metter sent it to me a couple of days ago. Trevor Horn does a good job on that stuff in terms of it, and it looked like there's a few teams that are going to be affected, but not many. And we're going to see a lot of teams just kind of stay where they are in terms of that. Have you done your own kind of looking at the playoffs?
Not recently, but yeah. I do know that there was a couple of huge games that have already happened that kind of determined which divisions some teams will be in. Like, for example, Tulare losing to Hanford and Bakersfield Christian in recent weeks makes sure that the Tribes should stay in Division II, which I think is where they belong. And we could see a rematch between them and Redwood some point in the Division II playoffs, maybe even in the championship. But that was a game that Tulare scored in the final few seconds to beat Redwood 49-42.
Yeah.
Redwood just won convincingly over Golden West, controlled that game at the line of scrimmage, ran the ball for however much they wanted, and was able to stop Golden West's passing attack. I think that can hurt Golden West in the Division II postseason, the fact that they don't really have a run game this season like they did last season. So, yeah, to answer your question, I have followed along, but I've been keeping my eye on a couple games that have really told me what the divisions will look like this year.
I'll give a look at here what I was sent here in terms of teams potentially moving up, according to Trevor Horn, who I think he does great work down in Bakersfield. Bakersfield Christian and Bakersfield High look to potentially move up to the 1A from the base D2. Golden West he has moving up to D2 based off the D3, their base D3. He has Shafter and Lasco moving up to D3 from base D4. And then from base D5, he has Emmanuel and Liberty of Madera going up to D4.
McLean better be careful because I think there are a few percentage points away from going up to Division III.
I think they're okay. I do think I think there's enough about, like, so do you think if the top four, if it's a 16-team bracket in D3, right, they would have to go top four. They would have to be ranked higher than Shafter, Wasco, Kennedy, or Porterville.
Yeah, and Porterville, they're a great team. Porterville's a great team. They beat Golden West. They were 2 points away from beating Redwood. Porterville should be in Division III. And I think it's just a matter of how much McLean wins by, honestly. And I don't know who they have left on their schedule.
McLean's got a Roosevelt, I think, coming still.
Oh, they beat Roosevelt a few weeks ago.
They have somebody. They have a Hoover. I think they still have a Hoover on the schedule.
Yes, the Revolution Cup.
Yeah, they got one more other team.
They play
Yosemite.
I'm thinking off the top of my head.
It's whoever they play tonight, or not tonight, this week in terms of it. I know they have Hoover to close out the year. I was looking at the schedule.
So it's just a matter of how much they win by, and then Porterville, they always finish against Madera South tomorrow night or Friday night.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean McLean finishes against Madera South, and then against Hoover. Porterville finishes against Mount Whitney and then against Monache in the Granite Bowl. So
Monache's no pushover.
No, I think that's going to help Porterville stay up in the top 4 in Division III, which will help McLean stay down in Division IV.
Yeah.
I don't want McLean to go up to D3 because they have such a great team and a great quarterback that you interviewed recently. I saw that. Vernon Lacey.
Yeah.
A dude. Has he thrown an interception yet this year?
Not yet.
Not yet. He has like 30-plus touchdowns.
Yeah, 30 to he's the most efficient quarterback outside of like 2 other quarterbacks in the state of California right now. He's only a sophomore.
And there's 2 other undefeated teams in Division IV. There's Emmanuel, who has just dominated teams.
I heard Emmanuel has offensive linemen that maybe Fresno State could use. That's how big they are. I heard from New Zealand.
CVC beat Kingsburg a week ago, and then they can't even score a point against Emmanuel. That just shows you how good Emmanuel is. And then Liberty of Madera has a touchdown machine. And Ethan Dunn
is a dude.
Absolutely, dude. Hey, great story, too.
Yeah, from Louisiana.
Yep.
I think his brother played D1 college football.
Yep.
As well. He's got good lineage. He's a monster. I hope he stays healthy all throughout the year. Liberty of Madera could be really a key team to win a title there.
So who do you pick to win between McLean, Emmanuel, and Liberty in Division IV?
So you're saying D4 is the hot bracket of the...
No, Division II is the hot bracket, but D4 is right behind. I mean, D2, you got Tulare, Redwood, Golden West.
I don't know much about Templeton. They got him at 3. Roosevelt's at 5 in D4.
Okay.
North, St. Inez, Napomo, Monache, Dos Palos. I'm just going down seeding.
That's in D4.
D4. That's what I'm saying.
I think D2 could be even more competitive.
Here's what we got D2. I got Tulare, Union, Redwood, Golden West, Garces, Oro Grande, Kingsburg, Lemoore, Dinuba, Lompoc, CVC, Tehachapi, Slow, Sunnyside.
Kingsburg, I mean, their defense must be like the 2000 Ravens because they held Kerman to 7 points.
I was at that game.
They shut out Sanger.
I think it was equally frustrating for Kerman the way that game went down versus what Kingsburg was able to do. 4th down stops 3 straight times in the second half in the goal area, goal to go situation, and Kerman just could not find a way to cash in. Forcing Adrian Torres to throw a ball across the field from the near hash to the far side of the field, and he threw it a pick, the second pick of the year in the entire season. I don't think I've ever seen an Adrian Torres stat line where he finished with 0 touchdowns and 1 pick.
That's Kingsburg's defense.
Kingsburg's defense was on point. They're legit.
But they've had some up and down games. I think it's because
the injuries at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
They're playing a linebacker at quarterback right now. Although he could easily throw the football.
Yeah, so they lost to CVC and Dinuba, but then they beat Sanger and Kerman. Like they're kind of the toughest book to read right now in the Division II bracket, but they could beat anyone.
Got 2-ish minutes to go, so I want to go to the big one on Friday. Central versus Clovis for the people. The newly committed Deegan Rose to Fresno State versus Central East, which just has guys everywhere in terms of D1 talent. What excites you about the game on Friday?
I just did a story, and I talked to both teams yesterday, so this is the perfect time to talk about the fact that this is the quarterback battle for the Valley, according to Jelani Dipple. He told me that whoever wins this game will be the best quarterback in the Valley.
Wow.
His words, not mine.
Words. Did you ask that to Deegan, or did you unfortunately get...
Well, Deegan and Jelani text every week.
Do they?
They practice, they throw together because they got the same throwing coach Tuesdays and Thursdays, but not this week.
Okay.
No texting, no throwing, no practicing together. They're rivals this week. They're playing for a track championship. And you look at Clovis High School, they've always been good in the trenches, but now they got skill players to complement Deegan Rose with Briggs and young James Caruso. Like, this is Clovis's best chance to win its first league championship in a decade. But Central East, they're no slouch. They struggled a bit last week because they had turnovers. They missed on some 4th downs. They gave up a kickoff return for a touchdown to Clovis West. They did everything you could do wrong, and they still found a way to score 46 and win. Brandon Smith, he's the X factor. Clovis needs to tackle him the first try. If they miss, Brandon Smith will make him pay. 259 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns for Smith last week. If he does that again this week, Clovis is not winning.
So who does win?
I'm going to go with Central East because they're at home and they have the notoriety, and I got to see more from Clovis's defense. I still have that Los Gatos game in my brain. Yeah. Los Gatos is good. They beat Pittsburgh, but they gave up 40 to Los Gatos. Last 2 track games, I think Clovis's defense has looked great. They held North to 7, and I think they might have held East to I don't have it in front of me.
It was 10 or something.
10.
Like that, yeah.
So the defense is playing better now, but that's a different beast at Central East.
It's going to be a fun game, and you can listen to it on 1430, and I'll do a cross promotion. You can also watch it on Friday Night Rivals.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe you can do both at the same time. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, Gabe, appreciate it as always. We're out of time, so thanks for stopping by the show, and we'll see you around.
Thank you, Phil.
Yep, Gabe Camarillo of KMPH. We'll take a break, wrap up the hour. Hour number 3 coming up next on 1430 ESPN.
Are you ready to lock in serious savings? Donald P. Dick Air Conditioning and Solar wants you to know that December 31st is the deadline for your new solar system to be operational to take advantage of the 30% federal tax credit. That's right, you can save 30% on your investment in clean, renewable energy. But the clock is ticking. Solar doesn't just save you money, it gives you energy independence, shields you from rising utility rates, and adds value to your home. And when you choose Donald P. Dick, you're working with a trusted local family business with 55 years of experience. Call Mr. Cool today. Get a free solar quote. The number is 559-255-1644. Take control of your power and your savings. Call the company with over 5 decades of experience. Write this number down. Call Donald P. Dick Air Conditioning and Solar at 255-1644. That's 255-1644.
Are you an athlete ready to level up your performance the raw way? Introducing the Raw Athlete Program from Raw Farm. High schoolers, college athletes, gym warriors, and pros, Raw Farm wants you to see why professional athletes and nutritionists are fueling up with Raw Farm raw whole milk to hit their team goals and personal gains. Raw Farm is the best 100% A2 cream top from seasonally grass-raised cows, non-GMO, certified humane, 100% made in America, and crafted for serious gains. Visit rawfarmsusa.com to learn more and find it at your local Sprouts location through the nation.
Prices on steel and materials are going up, but at Pacific Steel Supply, they're still delivering the best deals in the industry. Whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, or ag projects, Pacific Steel Supply will match or beat any competitor's price by an extra 10% on top quality steel, metal roofing, and components. With 24/7 service, fast delivery, and the best prices, the time to act is now. Get your free quote today from Pacific Steel Supply in Fresno, Ashland, and Parkway off Highway 99 or online at pacificsteelsupply.com.
Hey Fresno, Chris Swart out here, operating partner Jack's Car Wash Companies, located on the southwest corner of Cedar and Shepherd. Don't miss out on this winning combo.
That's right, Jack's Car Wash has a brand new Pepsi and Coke soda fountain, plus a new Keurig coffee station featuring your favorite national brands. Plus, Jack's Full Detailing is backed by popular demand. Schedule yours today by calling 435-7335.
Jack's Car Wash and ESPN Fresno, the double play of a great car wash and a great broadcast. Let's go Giants!
Game day just got a whole lot sweeter and a little bit saucier. KFC is bringing back one of the most requested plays in menu history, the original Honey Barbecue. That's right, that sweet, smoky, finger-licking legend for the late 90s is back and better than ever. Now you can get that classic Honey Barbecue flavor on everything, including their 2-piece chicken combo for $10.99 or the original Honey Barbecue chicken sandwich for $11.99. The original Honey Barbecue, sweet, savory, and back in the game. And it's happening only at KFC.
Mike Dermanuel Jr. of Hub International Insurance.
You've got to have a competitive benefits program to attract and retain employees. And as the cost of that continues to rise, we're becoming very innovative in how to finance those benefits for their employees.
Mike Dermanuel Jr. of Hub International. Learn more at hubinternational.com. License number 0757776.
If our clients succeed, we succeed.
At Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, our customers tell us they like Kubota better than Blue Tractors because of less downtime and easier controls. It's more cost-effective to own and operate, and it just keeps running when the season's on the line. That's why they trust Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, for both sales and service, especially after harvest. With Fresno and Reedley locations, Pioneer Equipment.
Your home for high school sports. 1430 ESPN, the Valley's local sports leader. KFIG Fresno.
I'm Christine Lisi. Opening week of the NBA season rolls on. The Stars are out in the Big Apple, including Yankees slugger Aaron Judge. Knicks are leading the Cavaliers 44-38 second quarter in a game on ESPN. 10 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists for Mikal Bridges. Magic up 53-50 on the Heat in the second quarter. Franz Wagner and Desmond Bain with a combined 22 points. Hornets a 45-42 second quarter lead on the Nets. In the first quarter, Celtics up 22-20 on the Sixers. Also in the first quarter from Atlanta, where the Hawks trail the Raptors 16-12. 4 months after being drafted first overall in the NBA draft, Dallas rookie Cooper Flagg makes his NBA debut against the Spurs, 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. Considering what he did his lone year at Duke, much is expected of Flagg by the Mavericks, notes ESPN NBA reporter Tim McMahon.
There's no easing in. There's no dipping his toe in the water. He's going to play a lot of point guard, probably start at point guard. He's going to have the ball in his hands. They want him and believe that he will impact the game in a lot of different ways, scoring, facilitating, rebounding, and especially as a disruptive, dominant type of defensive player.
NHL, Paul Cotter's first goal of the season has given the Devils a 1-0 lead on the Wild's first intermission. First period from Buffalo, Sabres and Red Wings are scoreless. NFL, no Jaden Daniels for the Commanders Monday night against the Chiefs. Washington's franchise quarterback out with a hamstring injury. He missed 2 games earlier this season with a sprained knee. Marcus Mariota again will start in place of Daniels.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen. Coming up Thursday, NFL insider Diana Rossini, a Chargers versus Vikings Thursday Night Football preview, and the latest from the new NBA season. That's Thursday's Rich Eisen Show on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.
He's got the knowledge.
Because once again, I have to come on there and talk about how right I am once again. In anything that it comes to sports.
He's got the questions.
I'm going to lose it. Are you kidding me? What are we doing here?
He's got the guests.
20th head coach in Fresno State history here, Matt. Is it hard to believe sometimes still the 20th head coach here in program history?
It's all moved really quickly here over the course of the last 5-6 weeks, but super excited to be here.
Phil Bonatti is the voice for the Central Valley sports leader. Behind the Bench starts now. Brought to you by Helena Agri.
That is right. Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. Here on this hour number 3 of our show here on this Wednesday afternoon, October 22nd. Yes, I did misspeak, Jorge. I apologize. I almost gave you a heart attack with the hour number 5 coming up next, but I know there are radio shows out there, I think, that go 5 hours, right? I think.
They're definitely. But I don't think we're
capable of the 5 hours. We're just not built that way, are we yet? We can be.
I mean, it's kind of like I'm doing a 4-hour today, but it's a little bit different.
Yeah, you got a special extra hour over on 790 later tonight. Of course, Paul Metters will be in for the Sunbird Sports Show, which will begin at 6 p.m. over on 790. Really the only program we've got tonight. No local teams playing tonight. No World Series playing tonight. So we got some Sunbird Sports Show for you tonight as well. Should be good. Always good to have that. Do you have any hint or inkling on who's coming on the show?
No idea.
We're gonna find out.
Paul should know.
Paul will know. Hopefully, Paul's listening. Maybe he can text us and let us know who's coming on the show. If not, we're going to find out together, folks. We're going to find out together in terms of it. Big thanks to Gabe Camarillo for joining us in the previous segment. Of course, Gabe and I, candid as always in terms of our conversation with Fresno State. Jorge, you heard us just pontificate about Fresno State for the last 40 minutes. Do you have any objections to the conversation we said, or is there anything you want to add to what this game will look like on Saturday against the San Diego State Aztecs?
I think you guys said it all. I think it's very, it's a difficult game, mainly because it's a rival. We always thought of ourselves as competitive, program, especially against San Diego State. One of the oldest rivalries, and I think that it always sucks if you lose to them. So you don't ever want to do that.
Yeah.
So you always want to win. I think, I don't know. I don't think there's a controversy in the quarterback. I don't think they're gonna change quarterbacks.
So you're more on Gabe's side than I am.
Yeah.
Than me.
I think that definitely they might not change him if he does bad. I think they might they might just let him finish the game and then see the week how it goes.
Okay.
But, maybe change him then. But he's a talented kid. He's got, makes wrong decisions time to time, and I feel like last week I think I said it already, but last game, not last week, but last game he wasn't on the same page with the receivers.
I usually am the measured and calm and try to keep everything level headed and let's not panic and everything like that. But I said this off air earlier, and I'll say it on air. Jorge, when it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it sounds like a duck. Sometimes it's just a duck, right? And if you just turn the ball over every game, maybe you are just a guy who turns the ball over every game. And for the 7 weeks we've seen it, you know what I mean? Like that's just the way it is, and that's just the way football is in terms of it. And so it's nothing against the guy personally. It's nothing against the guy, in terms of what's going on. But I just worry about how it could spiral if something goes wrong on Saturday and the game gets away, just like it did against Colorado State, because clearly this team has had issues with responding to the adversity sometimes. It has also responded to adversity in good ways. The Georgia Southern game is a prime example. But more often than not, the responding to adversity, Hawaii's a good example of responding to adversity well. So maybe it is more of a Jekyll and Hyde situation in terms of where this team can respond if there are issues that present it. Clearly, Colorado State game and Kansas game are the ones that are, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong in that situation. So I don't know how you channel the good response versus the bad response to a game like this, Jorge, but I wonder how well that is set up in terms of, okay, contingent game planning. Let's make sure we are all sticking to the plan, or here is what happens if we do end up in a situation like this. We're okay. We have a game plan to get us out of these situations. In terms of that, maybe it's a way of the coaches talking to the players in a game like this instead of saying, "Oh man, we just keep making these mistakes and we can't keep doing this," and you spiral a little bit in terms of it. I don't know, Jorge. I wonder if there's a psychology lesson to be learned in terms of this team this week on Saturday.
Yeah, there could be. Just if this team is what we think it is or is not. And honestly, most of the times Fresno State just plays to the level of their opponent. I think it's gonna be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it's going to be a good game, a well thought out match. So, I mean, it's been 2 weeks since the last game, so I think they should be rested enough and should have a really good plan for this game.
Oh yeah. All right, let's switch gears though, Jorge, because we got a 5-at-5 to do. A 5-at-5 involving the NFL. So, Jorge, I also asked you if you did one. Did you make a list?
Yeah. Sure, let's go with that.
Did you? I told you, man. You gotta. We're doing.
I was about to, and then I did something else.
And
but
then
I
you
have
got
one.
Okay, you can do it off the top of the dome. I believe in you. But let's get you set up with the imaging.
It's time now for Phil's 5-at-5.
A lot of moving pieces here on the show. Jorge's just one guy in terms of it. I want to just stop down, and it's a simple question, but it's a question and an exercise that I think is an important one because we haven't done this year, and usually I do it with baseball after every month in terms of it. We're about 7 weeks into the season now. We're about to hit week 8. I would say we're a little over a third of the way through the NFL season as we speak. Hard to believe we're there. And I feel like this is a good time to check in on who's good and who's not. And so it's quite simply a top 5 teams in the National Football League. Yes, that's the 5-at-5 right now. Jorge, I did this exercise right before this segment. You're doing the segment exercise probably while we're doing this segment. And I found it interesting, this ranking.
I think it should be fine. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's begin with
number 5.
And while this team is ranked 7th in their conference, I think this is the 5th best team right now in the National Football League, and that is, to me, the Los Angeles Rams. And the Los Angeles Rams, who, outside of a disastrous end to their game against the Eagles, who I think is a very good football team, and a crazy wild game against the Niners on a Thursday night, have been as good and as advertised as a team in the National Football League. Matthew Stafford, highly efficient quarterback right now, potential dark horse MVP candidate in terms of the National Football League right now. How about 17 touchdowns to 3 interceptions? Hey, we don't have Puka. Guess what? We have Devontae Adams to turn around and make things happen in terms of it. Oh, hey, we also have this elite pass rush that continues to throttle offenses on a week-in and week-out basis. The Rams handle business. The Rams are quiet 5-2. People aren't, I would say, necessarily looking at this team as a potential favorite to win a Super Bowl, but I think this team is right where it needs to be. Number 5 in the NFL for me, Jorge. I got the Los Angeles Rams.
All right. My number 5 is going to be the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, okay.
I think they threw something out there last week. I mean, it wasn't perfect by any means, but I think that, they're 5-2 overall.
Yeah.
So they're up there. They had some difficult losses, against the Niners. That was a close game, and I think that their defense, along with their offense, have been, getting better each game. And I think that's why I have them at number 5.
Losses to the Niners and then a shootout loss to the Bucks, 2 teams that are above them in the standings or right there are. So it's not like they have dropped a game against a bad team. The Seattle Seahawks have showed up when they needed to, and they really throttled the Texans down the stretch in that game on Monday. So Seattle's a good entry too. I think that's a great entry for you, Jorge. So I would totally see Seattle there. They just missed my top 5, by the way.
Number 4.
I got to do it. I'll go with my New England Patriots here, Jorge, at number 4. Outside of a horrible game against the Raiders and a horrible turnover game against the Steelers, this team has been able to show up and play great football on both sides of the game. And I understand the caliber opponent they may have beaten is lacking, although I would cite that beating the Buffalo Bills is good in any sense of the word. This team is figuring itself out on both sides of the ball. Like I said, they're finding ways to win in different aspects to it, which is kind of the classic Patriot way. Mike Vrabel has these guys playing more intelligently week in and week out as they continue to go. And this team is one to be reckoned with down the stretch in terms of it. I know it doesn't pass the eye test in terms of the schedule that they have. Of course, they go to play Cleveland, and they have Atlanta the next couple of weeks. They will play Tampa. I think that's a good measuring stick game for them. But in terms of where they are versus other teams in the National Football League, I think the Patriots are right there in a top sense of it. I'm going to put them at number 4.
All right, that's a good pick. I'm going to go with my number 4 as the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Good. All right.
I think the Bucks, I like the Seahawks. They've been playing better each game, and I think as much as I hate their quarterback, I think he's leading them to a playoff berth, if not.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield, man.
Yeah.
Can't be denied. Although he was not great. He'll be the first to admit he was not great against Detroit over the Monday night there as well. So good pick there, Jorge.
Number 3.
I'm going to go Philadelphia. And I know the alarm bells were raised when they lost to New York, but I think they fixed things with their deep passing game against Minnesota, who I think is a good team. I think Minnesota is a decent team right now in the National Football League. That's a great defense to it as well. And so Philadelphia 5-2 right now. They're right where they want to be. They haven't shown that they can play their best game just quite yet, but that's something that, of course, they're going to continue to try to figure out as they roll along. But the Philadelphia Eagles, for me, are maybe the most sure-betted team. I would say they're the most sure bet of the teams up there in terms of it. So I got Philly here just based off the talent, the pedigree, I think their defense is still coming along as well. I think their offense is still coming along. It's just the capability, the talent, and plus the depth of the Philadelphia Eagles is always going to be a hallmark as well. So I'm going to put Philly here at number 3.
All right, number 3. I'm going to have the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
I think the Lions are I thought they weren't going to be good this year. I thought they were going to struggle. I thought they were going to have some flaws, but they actually showed that they are still that team. You know, the 5-2, and I think they're definitely going to take the North this year.
All right, that's a good pick for Detroit, and we'll get to number 2, which is
number 2.
The Detroit Lions. For me, I have the Lions at number 2 overall in terms of the National Football League power rankings. And yes, Detroit, their slip-ups this year to a Green Bay team who I think just wanted to come out and play extremely well in their home crowd on week 1. I don't put it past it there. Week 1s are always a weird result. Lately, they, of course, had the game against the Chiefs that I think they want to have back in terms of the way they were able to struggle in that game. But outside of that, they really showed me something against Tampa, really clamping down on what Tampa has been good at offensively all year in the passing game. But the Lions have proven that they can explode on offense in terms of it. How about 34-plus points in a 4-game win streak midway through that season as well in each game? They're on a bye this week, and I think they're raring to go in terms of how they can go win this NFC. So I think the Lions, to me, are right now the number 2 team in the National Football League.
All right. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. All right.
I think we have them flip, right?
Yeah, we have them flip. Basically, Lions and Eagles flip.
So, yeah, I think that they're pretty much the NFC's best team right now. I think they have one of the best defense out there. You know, Jalen Hurts is just doing what he's doing, and he's been doing it for a few years now. And I think this is a team that's gonna definitely make the playoffs and definitely gonna make a run.
It's a good call. Good call. We'll see if number 1's the same. We'll see.
Number 1.
I have the Indianapolis Colts at number 1. If Jorge, if you told me that I was going to have the Indianapolis Colts through 7 weeks as the best team in the National Football League, I don't know what I would have said at the beginning of the season. I wouldn't have believed you. I really legitimately wouldn't have believed you. But here we are, a team that has historically been as good as the best offensive teams in the National Football League history. We're talking 07 Patriot range. We're talking 2013 Bronco range in terms of the way this Colts team has played offensively with, yes, that Daniel Jones in terms of it. Colts, outside of a rough ending to a game against the LA Rams, could be 7-0 in a schedule that I think, yes, could be lacking in terms of the competitiveness, but they're beating teams by legit margins. Like good teams beat bad teams by a wide margin. You know, you beat the Dolphins 33-8. You beat the Titans 41-12. You beat the Raiders 40-6. Like, that's a good team, and they have been the most consistent team out there in the way they played. I would be worried a little bit about their defense in terms of everything like that. But outside of that, that's just nitpicking to me. The Colts right now are playing the best football in the National Football League, and that's why I have them at number 1 in my power rankings.
Same.
Wow.
Same.
There you go.
I ran out of excuses not to put them number 1. I really don't have any, like, I thought maybe they were just fluke. And I thought Daniel Jones wasn't a real good quarterback, and then they played the Chargers, and I thought, you know, the Chargers are just going to whoop on them. And I was the other way around. So I right now, 6-1, they're legit. They're the best team in the NFL right now.
Best team. Crazy to say. The Indianapolis Colts are the best team in the National Football League.
That was Phil's 5 at 5.
Jorge, we haven't been saying that since Peyton Manning was wearing a horseshoe.
Yeah, and and even then it was kind of like week to week, you know. But
Brady still got something, and
yeah,
you know, Brady still got a.
It was a back and forth between Brady and
crazy
and the Colts.
Crazy stuff,
man.
Colts, man. The Colts. We'll see.
With Daniel Jones
with Indiana Jones. Yeah, we got to get the music up at some point here. All right, Jorge, let's take a break. When we come back, the Giants hire a new guy, and it is Major League Baseball history for their manager. We'll discuss that, some other topics as we continue this grab bag final hour of the show. Stay with us. Behind the Bench rolls along on 1430 ESPN.
It's football season, and your headquarters for game day gear is at the Sports Station. Check out their new location next to Women's Macy's inside Fashion Fair Mall. From official NFL jerseys, hats, and accessories for the 49ers, Cowboys, Raiders, and Rams to Fresno State apparel that shows your hometown pride, the Sports Station has it all. Whether you're cheering on the pros or repping the dogs, get the licensed merchandise you need to look game ready. Gear up now at the Sports Station next to Women's Macy's inside Fashion Fair Mall.
Quick, where can you find a great selection of Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Serta, and Mattress First bedding? Easy. The same place you'll find adjustable beds, sheets, pillows, mattress protectors, and more. Sleep Retreat inside Fashion Furniture. It's worth the time to walk through and imagine what your home could look like with beautiful new furniture. Or how comfortable you'll be on your new mattress. Fashion Furniture on El Paso across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
At Helena Agri-Enterprises, we're committed to helping you make the best agronomic decisions for your farm. That's why we combine cutting-edge technology with superior product. Helena's agri-intelligence solutions use in-depth analysis to identify potential problems in the field before they take root. Combined with a complete line of high-quality crop production and crop protection inputs, Helena has the tools to help you increase productivity, enhance performance, and maximize your return on investment. Contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer to create the right plan for your farm with Helena products and agri-intelligence solutions.
When you think of California business machines, it wouldn't surprise me if you automatically thought 3-cent color copies. It's something CBM has become locally famous for. But now there's something else business owners are calling about: business phone systems. It's a beautiful thing. Copiers, printers, office phone systems, all with one simple call to California Business Machines. 559-225-5570 or online at cbmsolution.com.
For 80 years, Fresno Pacific University has been shaping the heart and soul of California as the Central Valley's only accredited Christian university. Today, our deep faith roots and pride in our community drive us to provide affordable, career-relevant education that transforms the lives of our students and the communities they serve. Discover your calling through over 100 undergraduate and graduate programs offered on campus or fully online. Fresno Pacific University. Learn more at fpu.edu.
Hey everybody, Paul Metters here, host of the Central Valley Sports Report. I want to give a big shout out to Clovis Stone, Masonry, and Landscape Supply, proud supporters of all high school athletics, especially our Clovis schools. For over 50 years, they've been the Valley's go-to for natural and artificial stone, brick, block, bark, hummus, you name it, they've got it, with fast delivery available. Find them on Sunnyside, just south of Herndon and Clovis, or online at clovisstone.net. Ball improvement starts here at Clovis Stone.
Hey, it's Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench. In sports, when you take a hard hit, you count on your team. In life, after an accident, your team is Davis and Van Wagenen, attorneys at law. Right here in Fresno, they've helped Valley families win the compensation they deserve, and you don't pay unless they win. Visit davisvanwagenenlaw.com. That's davisvanwagenenlaw.com. Davis and Van Wagenen, your hometown injury attorneys. Back to Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader, here on this wonderful Wednesday. Final hour of our show as we start winding it down for the evening, send you into your 6 o'clock hour where we will have you, you'll want to flip over to 790 for the Sunbird Sports Show with Paul Metters. All right, so big news on the docket today, made official 7 hours ago, but we've had so much to talk about that I wanted to get into this just a little bit here in the tail end of the show. The San Francisco Giants have hired a new manager after firing Bob Melvin, who was fired after the season ended at 81-81 for the Giants, who missed the playoffs for a fourth consecutive year. They hire Tony Vitello as the manager for the San Francisco Giants. You're like, oh, well, Tony Vitello, where is he from? Of course, he was the Tennessee coach at the University of Tennessee, who won a College World Series back in 2024, just about a year ago. And why is this unique? This one is unique because this marks the first time a college coach gets hired straight out of college into the pros as a manager. Interesting move, to say the least. Is this innovative or is this risky? That is my number one question on the docket here for the San Francisco Giants. Of course, it's interesting to watch. Who is Tony Vitello? Of course, what kind of personality is he? He is a fiery guy, certainly. He is a guy who is considered a high-energy manager in terms of his recruiting. Is this something that can be used for the Giants, who continue to pursue high-leverage, high-level free agents that the Giants have failed to sign over the last few years? Is this something where having this manager, raw manager, who's good at recruiting can certainly lead to getting some guys in there? But this is an interesting move for Buster Posey and the San Francisco Giants as a whole. Will it translate? That's the big question. And Jorge, have you done your research on Tony Vitello in terms of this unprecedented move from the Giants, who now bring in a college coach to the professional ranks? You feel good? You feel weird about it? You feel nervous, cautious? How do you feel?
I feel a little bit of everything, really. I feel good in the sense that we finally got somebody, and it could work for next season. I feel a little bit weird because he doesn't have any experience in the MLB, major leagues, and I don't know how that's gonna translate, really. I feel a little bit cautious because, are we doing the same thing with the last time? This is something different. This is something that hasn't been done. Nobody's done it before, so you don't know how it's gonna turn out, really. It's new, and I think that's what they wanted to go with, something new, something that maybe not this new, but I think from the options that they had, I think this is a really good option. He's made 4 World Series or 3 World Series and won 1. So in the last 5 years, so that's he's got a good resume. That's for sure.
Well, what was our issue with this Giants team all year? What was I complaining about the most, right? About this Giants team all year?
Runs.
Well, outside of it, lack of leadership, lack of a fire.
Yeah,
just felt like a dead team that couldn't get its head out of its own. You know what? In terms of how this team played, right?
Yeah, you had leads in games that you shouldn't have lost, and you could have.
You had errors in the field where it's completely inexcusable, and this team would just not find the way an ability to hit in crucial situations, get in its own head in terms of approach at the plate when it needed its guaranteed hits to still find a way to win baseball games in the late stages. And to me, lack of leadership, lack of accountability last year, even to an 81 season, tells me there's more to the talent of this Giants team than that has been given. And when Bob Melvin just stood there like a statue to me, it just drove me nuts, because he just had to keep even-keeled Bob Melvin to just make sure this thing was going to find the right way through the storm that it was going through. This is not going to be Tony Vitello, who's just going to stand back and let things happen. He is going to let guys know when things are going to be wrong and when things are going to be right, and he's going to let guys know in terms of leaning on the leadership. He is the rah-rah coach, per se, in terms of that. Is that going to work at the professional level from the college standpoint? That is the question, because some pro ball players, Jorge, don't need to be rah-rah'd. They're here to play professionally baseball in some form or fashion, but it just felt like the Giants.
Some don't want to be rah-rah'd, and they need to be.
Yeah. Well, does it bring out more of that from the player's side? Who, if Vitello sits down with Willie Adames and Matt Chapman and Rafi Devers and says, "Guys, you are the leaders. you need to, and Logan Webb, you need to lead this team. We need you guys to be more vocal in the dugout, in what you guys do and what you guys show. I know it's great to have the charisma that you guys have in terms of the team morale, but it needs to translate to wins and what you guys can provide in terms of getting us out of situations where you're losing 10 of 11. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of what I heard last year was like, we're a big family. We're kind of like a family. We're always a family here. And it felt like Paul Malvin wasn't really the dad. He was more like the grandpa. I mean, he was more lenient in that way. And I feel like he wasn't the structure guy, the guy to tell, hey, we should be doing this instead of this, or, And maybe he's worked with that, and it has worked for him in the past, but it sure wasn't working here, and with the Giants. So I think this is definitely a step in a different direction. I don't know if it's a good direction yet, but it's definitely a different direction.
Mm-hmm. Jeff Passan wrote a good report on this hire in terms of just speaking to the history of why MLB teams are reticent to dip into the college ranks for managers in terms of that. And he says it's long established and has run counter to the hiring practices of other professional sports leagues. Of course, NFL teams have regularly plucked head coaches from the college ranks, and in the NBA, there is no stigma associated with college coaches. Major league organizations have been more open to hiring coaches from college than managers. The most recent example, pitching coach Wes Johnson left Arkansas to take the same role for the Minnesota Twins in 2019. He then left the Twins 3 years later, accept the pitching job at LSU before joining Georgia as its head coach prior to the 2024 season. But as you know, that is the most of what we've seen so far, that was the most direct path to Major League Baseball, and yet we have not seen it completely go from college to the level. So are the guys at this pro level, the San Francisco Giants, going to accept the idea of a guy who came to college? Is there a legitimacy to a guy that's coming from college with him? And will the guys listen to a guy who comes from college in that sense as well? That's a big question mark. Also, who played at Tennessee? Who was that outfielder that's psychotic for the Giants? I think he played at Tennessee, right? Gilbert? Was it Drew Gilbert?
Did he play at Tennessee?
I think he played at Tennessee, right? Am I remembering?
Look him up.
What?
I might have to look him up.
Drew Gilbert. I think, I believe he played at Tennessee. Yeah. So he's a Tennessee Volunteer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So a little connection there. Love his psycho nature to it. Wait, maybe you draw something out of Drew Gilbert.
His weird energy. Yeah.
So at least there's somebody there that can vouch for him in his corner. Outside of that, it's interesting.
Yeah, it gives me hope. It gives me hope for something new, and it's always new stuff is always scary, but if it goes well, it definitely it's gonna change the way baseball thinks about hirings, especially with the NCAA and lower leagues.
Yeah. Here's the other question to it, though. Will other organizations feel, and even some coaches in the Giants organization, I'm talking the minor leagues, because usually when you get your opportunity as manager, you go through the minors, right? And now the Giants have broke the status quo in terms of that being the process. Is that something that puts a black mark on the Giants in terms of the unconventional practice of what's going on, or does this actually open up the idea to other organizations, hey, this is actually something you can explore? I think it's all dependent on the success of Tony Vitello and whether this Giants team is going to find ways to win. Let's be honest, it's a very tough job because you have to beat the Dodgers, you have to beat the Padres, you have to beat the Diamondbacks, three teams who are finished better than you did.
Don't forget about the Rockies.
Yes, those Rockies. You better beat those Rockies.
Hey, we finished better than the Diamondbacks.
I think you finished tied with the Diamondbacks.
No, we finished one game above.
Did they finish 80 and 82?
0.5, I think.
Anyways, they were good. The Diamondbacks were more alive than you were to the tail end of the season. I'll tell you that, Jorge. But is it contingent on the success of this coach to say, hey, maybe the Giants are finding out something, here's an avenue where coaches can come from? Or I will say this, if this is also a failure, then this might be one of the big failures of all time in terms of taking that risk. And I think it'll completely shut the door in terms of what college coaches can do in the professional rank as well. I think there's a lot of historical stuff riding on this hire in a sense as well, right?
Yeah, I think so too. I think so. I think, you know what, I believe they did their homework just because, the winners of the California League, and we know very well who it was, San Jose, and that's a minor league of the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't they not look at the coach here that just won a championship with this team,
right?
And it's part of their franchise or their corporation, or So why wouldn't they look at him? I think maybe they did look at him and they saw that maybe if this works out better, I'll have more of an upside than what they had in the lower leagues.
I like to believe there is, because where do you rank it, right? Like all the college coaches versus all the minor league coaches, and like where is the hierarchy of respect there in terms of that, and like what, who feels more on the food chain, higher on the food chain in terms of where these managers sit in terms of that. I think that's an interesting conversation to kind of think about in terms of the baseball ecology, the ecosystem of baseball in terms of it. And
and baseball it's an old game that people have been playing it for so long and have been doing things for so long that that's worked out for them, and they feel like maybe they don't need to change. And things like this could give it a little more of a spark and make things, especially coaching wise, change.
Well, let's talk about the expectations, right, for Vitello, because Bob Melvin got fired at 500 because this team was expected to be what, a 90-win team?
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, I thought it was going to be a 90-win.
So
it looked like at one point that we were going to go 90.
So for the first year of Vitello's career in coaching baseball, the expectation's 90 already?
In the MLB.
Is that unfair on him, too? Is this an unfair situation for him to come into?
You at least have to be at par of this year or better. You cannot be lower than this.
I think Buster would lose his mind if we finish 81 and 81 again.
Yeah, but you also got to think about it his first year, and a lot of things are changing.
You know how impatient Buster Posey is? I think Buster Posey is one of the most impatient guys out there in terms of it. I mean, he just went and got Devers and just said, we're getting Devers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
he didn't wait around for Devers.
It worked out for him for a little bit, and then
he didn't wait around for Devers.
And then that's how you have to be sometimes, because otherwise you'll get. One of the reasons why when they did the whole thing with Aaron Judge, that he was going to go to the Giants, and he had an offer from the Giants, they waited too long.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he learned watching other people do that.
Yeah.
And I don't think he wants to be that guy. So I think I think he's doing things the way he wants to right now because they're giving him a slack. And I think this is another decision that he's made, that he's going out there, seeing testing the waters.
I am cautiously optimistic of what this will look like, but I also am afraid of what could potentially be the standard of what year one will look like with this coaching tenure now. And I hope Vitello gets a fair shake at this. I root for it because I think there's great college coaches everywhere that probably maybe deserve to get looked at in Major League Baseball in terms of it. It doesn't necessarily need to be the boys club of moving up through the minors and you wait your turn, or you grind it as a bench coach and then you get your shot, and because you're on a good team. And maybe there is more to it in terms of that, and where the way baseball is run now and the way the sport of baseball is played, it is more translatable from each level to each level in terms of it. So I I invite the idea that Vitello is going to have a good tenure in the San Francisco Giants system, but I will warn people that it could be on the merit of a very difficult set of circumstances if the things go the same way it did last year, because I worry that he'll be unfairly judged for that, or it could be an abject disaster because he's a college coach, and there's a reason he's in college.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe.
It's an interesting experiment. Innovative if it works, Jorge. A disaster if it fails. Let's take a break. We'll wrap up the show next. Stay with us behind the bench on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader.
Prices on steel and materials are up everywhere, but you can still get unbeatable value for your residential, commercial, industrial, or ag projects at Pacific Steel Supply in Fresno. They'll match or beat any competitor's price by at least 10% on top quality steel, metal roofing, and components. Ready when you are. Massive inventory? Yes. Same-day delivery? Yes. 24/7 service? Yes. Get your free quote today. Call or swing by Pacific Steel Supply, Ashland and Parkway in Fresno, off Highway 99, or visit PacificSteelSupply.com.
Fresno County is filled with talent, but opportunity doesn't always reach every student. The foundation at FCOE is just $100,000 away from reaching our $1 million endowment for excellence. This fund safeguards life-changing programs, from academic decathlon and career expos to arts, leadership, and college readiness, ensuring opportunities for students now and for generations to come. Join us. Every gift builds tomorrow. Visit fcoefoundation.org/raise to 1 million.
There's no such thing as an off-season. When the days get shorter and the fields aren't up to par, it's time to train smarter at Elite Performance Center in Clovis. This full-service indoor facility has batting cages, drills, clinics, and one-on-one lessons with elite coaches, former D1 athletes, MLB vets, and even Fresno State softball players. Whether it's a single lane, a private lesson, or the whole 6-cage facility, Elite Performance Center is here for individuals, groups, and teams. Find Elite on Barstow, just east of Clovis Avenue, or online at ElitePerformanceCenterCA.com. Elite Performance Center. Train like the elite.
Fall has arrived at Patrick James, where style meets tradition. Come in and see the latest items from the brands you love. Peter Millar, Robert Graham, Faraday, and True Grit, just to name a few. Stop by and experience our brand new shop-in-shops featuring Johnny O and the very first Martin Dingman shop west of the Rockies. Discover finely crafted apparel, exceptional service, and a locally owned store that's been serving the Valley for generations. Patrick James, where looking your best begins this fall.
Get ready for the ultimate Monday Night Showdown, only at Chachansey Gold. Starting September 8th through December 29th, win your share of $80,000 in giveaways, including $51,000 in e-cash. Earn entries all day Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Then join us for drawings every Monday from 5 to 8 p.m. Swipe your rewards card during the game inside Firehouse Lounge for a free entry into over $28,000 in prizes, including football gear and more. Game day starts here at Chachansey Gold.
At Citizens Business Bank, we've been taking a personal approach to banking for over 40 years and are consistently recognized as one of the top performing banks in the nation. Hi, I'm Susan Woosner, Senior Vice President and Manager of Citizens Business Bank in Fresno. We believe in the importance of building long-lasting and genuine relationships with our customers. We want to provide you with the solutions you need to grow your business because your success is our success. Citizens Business Bank, member FDIC.
Life gets messy, but your space doesn't have to. We are Rise and Shine Janitorial and Commercial Cleaning Services, where we clean because your time is important. From offices to schools to medical facilities, Rise and Shine handles it all with our trained staff and high-performance standards. Big jobs or small, Rise and Shine will never lock you into a contract. So let us take the stress off your plate. Contact Rise and Shine Janitorial and Commercial Cleaning Services. Call 559-649-5391 or visit riseshine559.com.
It's finally here, homecoming week for your Bulldog football team. And better yet, it's a blackout homecoming game this Saturday. The Dogs host rival San Diego State at 12:30 p.m. And make sure you're in your seats early so you don't miss any of the action. Halftime is going to be one to remember as we honor the one and only Jeff Tedford and we induct him into the Ring of Honor. So grab your blackout gear, head to GoBulldogs.com today and grab your tickets for the biggest party in the Valley.
Welcome back to Behind the Bench. 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. One more segment to go before we say goodnight. Flip it over to 790 for you to go to listen to the Sunburn Sports Show. Let's go over the schedule, what we got this week in terms of it. Good one. Tomorrow we'll have Sportsline Building Hour, Tony D from 2 to 3. We'll have my show from 3 to 5. We'll send it off to L.A. for the Vikings and the Chargers, 5 p.m. Kickoff there, over there on 1430. Over on 790, the Sharks and the Rangers. Sharks still looking for their first win, Jorge. Still, it's been trials and tribulations. Jorge, did you see that the coach of the Sharks got quoted that he would give up one of his children for a win?
Is that what he said?
Yes.
I mean, the season just started. He's what, 4 games in?
They're like six or 7 games in now. Yeah.
But all games, or is it preseason too?
No, we're not. We're 6 games in.
We're 6 games in. Damn. Well, I mean, they're gonna win once here soon.
Gotta.
Hey, the Wild's coming up, so I mean,
Rangers are bad. Yeah, it could be the Rangers.
Rangers coming up too.
Yeah, that's tomorrow on 790. To Friday, Sportsline Building Hour, Tony D, 2 to 3. We'll have my show from 3 to 5. We'll be heading on over to Collegian Stadium. 6:30 pregame with a 7 p.m. kickoff. High school, Friday Night Lights, Clovis at Central East. Me, Paul Metters, Pat Hill on the call. Should be a good one. We're on 790. Jorge, what? We got a 4 p.m. pregame for the World Series Game 1 over on 790. 4 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes, all games are going to start at 4 p.m.
So 4 p.m. pregame, Dodgers, Blue Jays, Game 1 from Toronto. Saw the Dodgers were traveling out there today for...
Game 1's going to be on 790.
Game 1 will be on 790. Saturday, Central Valley Sports Report with Paul Metters from 10 a.m. to noon. He'll be there from First String Sports, and I got to imagine he will be zipping out as fast as he can to get over to the Fresno State game in a timely fashion. Off after him on 1430 at 4 o'clock, Dodgers Blue Jays Game 2 World Series for you on that Saturday. On Sunday, we will have the Niners and the Texans in the morning, right, Jorge? Is that an hour-long pregame for the Niners and Texans or 30
That's
minutes?
right, yeah. It's going to start at 9.
So 9 a.m. pregame, Niners at Texans in Houston on 1430. We will have also Packers and Steelers on Sunday Night Football on 1430. Over on 790, a couple of different sports going on. Sharks and Wild, 2:30 start time there in Minnesota. Following that, we'll have Lakers and Kings for you as well. Monday, we'll be back. Sports Time Building Hour, Tony, 2 to 3. We'll have my show from 3 to 5 before we send it off to Monday Night Football between the Commanders and the Chiefs. I love that we have Commanders and Chiefs battling. I find that funny. To say.
Commanders and Chiefs.
Commanders
like
and Chiefs. Yes, Commander in Chief. Over on 790, we'll have the World Series Game 3 from Los Angeles, 4 p.m. And then Tuesday, we'll have Sports on Bulldog Hour, Tony, 2 to 3. We'll have my show from 3 to 4. And we'll put the World Series Game 4 on 1430. Who knows? Maybe we have a winner by then. Maybe. Game 4. It is necessary, as they deem it. All right. So, excuse me. NBA is getting going. By the way, Cedric Coward looking good in his debut so far. I watched the video in the break. He was able to get a nice steal off of Zion and go coast to coast and get the foul and one. Layup buckets. So some guys locally who are playing well tonight in terms of that. So some good stuff there. What else do we got on the docket for you, of course? We mentioned that NBA schedule in terms of it. By the way, it feels so deja vu. I'm going through Twitter. I see all this stuff, and I'm starting to see all the UCLA stuff pop up. And now I see Kevin Coyle, our old defensive coordinator, talking about practice for UCLA in terms of it. And he's not the defensive coordinator. He's the defensive analyst for the UCLA Bruins. And it's just funny. It's just funny how UCLA is set up this way in terms of it. But are you excited to see Skipper on primetime? The 9 a.m., the big noon kickoff that they're going to have him on?
Yeah. The Indiana coach said, I think he said it best, this isn't what is it?
Like a trap game?
No. This is a brand new team. Like
Yeah.
he said,
It's not-
It was a 3-0 team.
Mhm.
That's exactly what he said. It was a 3-0 team. It wasn't,
Not
all
a
those-
1-4 team
Yeah,
when he took
1-4.
it over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach Signetti. Boy, if UCLA wins that one, woof. Are we talking Big Ten title game? UCLA?
No. I think they lost so many already too.
They've
for
only
that to
lost
happen.
one
on the
in the Big Ten.
Really?
They've only lost one game to the Big Ten, and that was Northwestern.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes.
All of their losses
their
have been in the
losses.
non-conference.
Yeah. Penn and Maryland.
Maybe-
Okay.
Yeah.
They
There's a
got
path.
chance. There's
There's a path.
chance.
So
There's a
you're
chance.
saying there's a chance. Unbelievable. Anyways, what else we got to talk about here? I'm kind of running out of things to talk about here. What do we got, Jorge?
Some soccer, the playoffs, MLS. Oh man.
MLS playoffs right now?
Oh yeah. Decision day was this weekend.
Yeah.
So the playoffs are set.
So how are your Galaxy? Where are they?
At home. They lost way too many games at the beginning of the season, and now when they started, gaining some momentum in the middle of the season, that was too late.
I feel like it was just MLS playoffs. Why am I doing something weird with my brain?
They literally were the first ones to get eliminated, I think.
Really?
From 2 months ago, or a month and a half, something like that.
So what do we got? Well, last night, we had a full slate of MLS. We got the wild card tonight.
Yeah, tonight's a wild card.
Are you recording anything, or do you want me to spoil what's going on in Chicago
Nah,
and Orlando
that's
City?
all right. You can spoil it.
No score right now in the 9th minute of Chicago-Orlando City.
Okay.
Tonight. And then you got Portland versus Real Salt Lake tonight as well.
Those are teams that are gonna get in there, but they don't have a lot of promise. Miami and who was the other team?
Who was it? Philadelphia got a good.
Yeah, Philadelphia was
San
one of
Diego
them.
FC.
San Diego was impressive.
Yeah.
San Diego, that team. I feel like that team could go to the championship.
Okay.
Yep.
Who else is the world beaters out there? Seattle.
Seattle, they have some. They've been up and down. They were good the entire season.
FC Dallas.
Dallas, no. I mean, they made the playoffs. Of course, they're a good team.
Nashville.
Nashville, not that I've seen, good enough to make the semifinals maybe, but that's about it.
What about Columbus?
The Crew.
The Crew's always good.
Yeah, they've been good so this few years. They've been top of the league, so that one might make it all the way to the finals. Yeah.
New York City club.
City,
NYC.
Yeah, they got the money, they got the players.
Is there a cap in MLS, or do they?
Yeah,
is it free? Free spending.
So what they're doing now is they're doing basically have in the MLS they have players like 3 players that you can pay more than the rest.
Okay.
Right, but for the rest you have a cap.
Yeah.
But these are special players that make
Gotcha.
a lot more money.
Are you basically like anybody but LAFC to win?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going for San Diego. I think San Diego might.
Aren't they the new kids on the block basically?
Yeah, they have 2 years.
Yeah.
1 year, two seasons, I think. But yeah, they impressive.
They're tied with Vancouver in the standings from what I'm seeing. And then Philadelphia, Cincinnati,
Canadian
Miami.
teams, those Canadian teams are tough too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Charlotte, sneaky Charlotte.
Charlotte, they have a good, a good team, but I don't see them.
Dang, my
far.
San Jose Earthquake just missed out on the wild card.
Yeah, they were.
Looks
up
like goal
there.
differential maybe, or I don't know what was, or maybe Real Salt Lake just had more wins than they did. I don't know.
Yeah, they go by wins.
Yeah. Yeah, Real had 12 wins. San Jose had 11, but they had tied in the
same
points.
Points.
Yeah, dang.
Maybe it was a head-to-head or something.
Maybe it was. When is San Jose ever going to be good again? That's what I ask. If they're a playoff team,
I think they have to sell the team.
Do they have
that,
to sell the team?
That owner, you know who that owner is?
Oh, isn't it your guy?
It's your guy.
My guy.
Ace owner.
Oh, not my guy. Certainly not my guy. John Fisher, get out of here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that on a downer. Jorge. Hold on. Can I get the sound? Can I get the sound real quick? There we go. There we go. Yep. There we go. You know, I'm just
trying my hardest.
Anyways, all right, we're done with it. Jorge, good show today. Appreciate it.
Great show.
Great 3 hours. We'll be back tomorrow at Fashion Furniture for 2 hours. Student Athlete of the Week interview should be great. So tune in 3 o'clock there. We'll see you tomorrow. Sunbridge Sports Show over on 790. Next.
Are you a business owner struggling to understand how cloud technology can help your business? Are you in need of computer and technology